Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Headspace Podcast. It's episode 67. It's your boy, HSR.
It's your boy, Kriss Chrome.
And it's your boy, Prophetry. Hey, 67 is only 2 away from, like, an ideal number.
It is a very good number.
Yes.
I can't wait to hit that many times on this channel. All right, so before we get into the episode, let's do the housekeeping stuff. We're going to start with our favorite comment. Chris's favorite comment from last week. From White Boy Productions on the SOB X RBE Gang review, which is a great album. I'm throwing it out there. Great review. I enjoyed the album, although I do agree with Kriss on the album's repetitiveness. Kriss loved that part.
I did.
My favorite tracks were probably Lifestyle, Paid in Full, and Carpooling. Carpooling's stellar. By the way, if you like the song Carpooling, it's stellar. You should check out either Jureg Flows or Like a Soccer Mom by Ski Mask the Slump God. Thank you. I might actually do that. I was ignoring him until this point.
Yep.
I know I just mentioned him on another review, but that song just really reminded me of his style. I can appreciate that because I really like that song. So now I feel more encouraged to look at Ski Mask the Slump God. Thank you. No, legitimately. I just never thought I'd say those words. That's the beauty of doing this, I think. So moving on, we do have a request list, meaning that if you have any albums you want to see us cover, you can put that into the comments, and we love that shit. Let us know how you feel, and if you do put a comment down there, you enter the Grind to 1,000 Subscribers contest.
What is that?
Well, if you subscribe to the channel, you like the video, and you leave a comment related to the video or the album or, you know, something to start a conversation, you enter into a raffle where first prize is going to be $100 of Amazon gift card money.
Holy shit.
Just a note, you can also tell us we suck. That works too.
But you have to qualify it with, well, why? So you suck because Holden is really pretentious and his beard bothers me. Acceptable.
Yeah. It's got to be specific, you know.
To Holden,
identify the person, you know, like just what, like, is it my nose?
Like at least make it sound like you've actually spent, you know, like 10 minutes with us. You've gotten to see what we look like and everything.
Especially
and you've identified our worst features.
So, like, if you're faking it for the contest, skip to, like, the 23-minute mark, watch 5 minutes, comment on what you saw, you know, make it believable.
Or you can hit the description down below to pick anything of the where we're talking about the songs.
Anyway.
Oh, the house cleaning.
We're doing that now.
Yes.
And it's keeping.
I think Kriss was right to say that stuff.
Like, in the description down below, okay, you can see where we talk about the different songs you might like, so you can pick one of those songs and tell us if we suck on that review or not.
Yes, and then second place is $50, plus you get to request a review from us, because you get to request a review also, and you get to pick who's on the channel. And third place is $25 plus a review. And you know what the best part is?
Reviews also include videos and TV shows, and for any other shows that we have on this channel.
That's not the best part, but that's a good part. The best part is for every other video that we put out that you like and comment on, you get an extra entry into the raffle. Then when we break that 1,000 subscribers, we're going to go on YouTube Live, and we're going to use a random number generator, and we're going to pick people, and then you'll give me your email, and I'll send you that gift card. And voila, the magic of the internet happens.
And it's in USD currency.
Yes.
Well, so that's like $1 million Canadian dollars.
It's like $1.7 million to be exact. On that note, we should maybe
How can you not do this?
We should maybe get into this little album review a little bit.
So for this week's Headspace 67 episode, we went with, oh my god, I'm fanboying, Tech N9ne's brand new album, Planet.
That is, in fact, what we did. The 19-song version that was on Spotify that says deluxe, but unlike all the other deluxe albums that we've seen of Strange Music, the Strange is actually at the end and not in the middle somewhere.
It also appears to be potentially missing a song.
That's number 20, which is very odd because it's you anyway. We'll talk about it.
It's called Planet. The song is
like
called
it's the
Planet.
title song,
so,
and
to
not
be clear, I didn't listen to that yet.
I didn't listen to it either.
Because it wasn't on the 19 tracks that were on.
And it's not even on YouTube, and like you can't find it anywhere.
So what is it on? If it's not on the deluxe album,
I assume it's on the Strange Music website.
So
like I can give.
I actually found the file, and it is available. It's just not publicly out there. You can find it if you download the album.
Yeah.
The actual album.
It's pretty interesting to me that the song named after the album is not on the album.
But it's right there on the Genius page letting you know it's there when you go look at the lyrics. Anyway, I think it maybe goes without saying that we all know who Mr. Tech N9ne is, Mr. Aaron Yates.
I've heard his name a few times.
Are you a fan?
I am a fan of Tech N9ne. My first experience of Tech N9ne was actually probably hearing a collaboration that he did with one of the artists that I liked. No, you know what? I think I heard about him even before that. He's kind of like a major force on the internet, right? He's like one of the most successful independent rappers.
Yes.
Built his own company. Like everybody knows who Tech N9ne is. It's hard to go through rap culture without hitting him at least a few times. Especially given that the guy, this is his 20th album. This is one hell of a like prolific music maker.
That's fair.
I ran into Tech N9ne on, I think it's Need for Speed 2 Underground.
Really?
Yeah, Everybody Move. That's where I first found out who Tech N9ne was, and then I just stumbled upon him when he came out with Worldwide Choppers, and then I fell in love. I love the way he's like just machine gunning all the lyrics. I love how he knows how to chop it, and he's smooth with it. It's insane.
So you like how he gets to busting like a 30-06?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Speed him. I just want to say, I like Worldwide Choppers better than Speed 'em.
Yeah, it's definitely
Like,
better.
I get it. Eminem is finally on the track. You finally
was just
did
having
it.
a conversation today. It sounds like everybody kind of phoned that in, but Kriss Kaliko.
Right?
Because Kriss Kaliko's verse on Speed 'em is pretty fire.
Sounds like an actual verse and not some like, I'm better than you tricky shit.
I'm the failure of the final fight. Anyway, I feel like I literally have had this exact conversation twice today.
We've had this.
No, I had it this morning with Sid.
Oh
anyway,
my Jesus.
So, yeah, but you like Tech N9ne, I assume?
Yes, I do enjoy Tech N9ne. As you may know, I am a Strange fan as well. I was talking about when we did the Ritz review.
Fair enough. Yeah, that happened. That happened. Be nice to us, 'cause it was not a great moment to some people, but whatever, we roll with it. So I guess I'll go then if you're done. So I remember coming across this song, Ooh, Areolas. And I was what is this nonsense? And then I found out it was by Tech N9ne. And at this point in my life, there's a word for people like me, and it's called a hater. And so I was a hater. And I read him off like he was whatever.
Skirt!
But then I met this next dude, Desmond, and he was like, you gotta listen to him. And he pointed out that the beginning of the Areola song made it ironic. And I missed that part. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But then I actually started to just see him start to pop, right? Because it was like 2010, 11-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he had just done Ever Ready or whatever, and he moved on. And I discovered him right after the Eba mixtape, and something else had just dropped. And oh my goodness, had I never heard anybody spit bars like this dude, man.
Yep.
Like, I fell in love with his style. There are so many songs, like Dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Amazing song. And you run it through, and you know what it is? It's not just, you know why he's the #1 independent? Because at a time when the mainstream was kind of messing around with this, like, almost laid-back T-Pain chill vibe, Tech N9ne was pushing the frontier on how to make chopping interesting with his cricket rhymes. Tech N9ne.
Cricket rhyme?
Man, I'd never heard anybody use cricket more than Tech N9ne in a song. But the crazy flows, the diversity, and this album is interesting because here's what happened to me. I got super into Tech N9ne around then. I was all on Team Tech N9ne. He did
Team
the rock
Strange.
album. He did the rock album, the EP there, whatever. I got super fanboy into them. And then I realized that Tech N9ne really has like 5 or 6 songs he writes. He's got the...
like topic of conversations.
Yeah. He's got I'm Depressed and Woe Is Me. He's got I Had to Do It All Myself, Strange.
Nobody wanted me.
Then he's got Check It on Forbes List. He's got Party the Pain Away, which is an entire topic of conversation.
Which is also a song.
And then he's got like the I'm Dysfunctional, We're Crazy, blah, blah, blah. And for a while, it seemed like that's all he had to say. And I got a little bit ignorant because at that time I hadn't been reviewing albums and had the light shine in my face on maybe that there's more to rap than diverse content. I just kind of missed it. I just let him go. I moved on from Tech N9ne. I was a hater, especially because most strange music artists are not that great to me. They're okay. They're talented individuals, but they do not stand that well next to Tech N9ne when you listen to their projects. Well, they sound great when Tech's directly involved, though. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I mean, I can't think of a single guy on Strange Music whose album comes out where I'm like, except for Tech, right?
Yeah.
But when Tech drops an album, I'm a little bit curious. I found myself going to listen to it. I mean, Anonymous collaborated with Tech N9ne. Anonymous, the mass computer hacking group.
Wait, are you serious?
I'm not lying, because in the song, yeah, he has the lyric, at least Anonymous is hacking for peace. So Anonymous reached out to Tech N9ne, and then they made this strange video where you see Tech N9ne in front of an organ and blah, 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 and submit your creative projects and we'll post them kind of crap. I don't know what happened with that. But, like, this guy is open-minded, fucking around with every style and genre. Now, I listened to a lot of his earlier work. I decided one day I was going to listen to old Tech N9ne. So I probably went through his first 4 albums. And off the jump, he's, like, spitting on anything. And he has so many qualities about him that I find, like, admirable. So when it comes to, like, becoming a better MC...
Yeah.
Few can teach you about versatility like Tech N9ne, but few can also teach you about the traps of falling into pits and stuff like Tech N9ne. Like, this guy is a case study waiting to happen. I just talk for a lot about Tech N9ne, but the guy is really influential to me. I performed one of his songs at hip hop karaoke, the Fragile one. I really, really think he is one of the most talented MCs that exists, on the exception of his subject matter.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. The thing about Tech N9ne I find is that he has complete technical mastery of how he spits. Yep. He enunciates perfectly. He chooses all sorts of interesting words. He's got a great vocabulary.
Cha.
He's got like all sorts of very, very positive strengths, and his biggest weakness, in my opinion, is his ability to deliver on thematic content. And I think that the reason for that tends to be that the way that he writes is very unforgiving, and it's very challenging to work that way. And I think that his focus, like he stated outright in the past, the way that he writes is percussion first. Like he'll sit there, listen to a beat, he'll figure out what he wants the rhyme structure to sound like drum wise, before he even knows what the words are going to be.
Right.
So that's the reason that his stuff sounds the way it does, like flawless percussion. It flows perfectly.
Yeah.
But it also would pose a challenge for progressing a narrative, right? Or building up a theme.
Fair enough.
But he is on a planet, and that album covers whatever. You got like Tech, and holding a globe.
And on the globe, there's the bat and snake symbol, all lit up, and it's Tech N9ne
there's like
planet.
a like universe behind them.
It's a little futuristic. It's very futuristic. It doesn't have
Makes me think
this.
of Wayne.
Really?
Yeah, because Wayne's an alien.
Not fair.
And Tech N9ne, I feel he's on his own planet, and I don't know if it's like a running theme in his world, but I get it. I'm okay. I don't know. The title does very little for me, and the album cover does very little for me.
This seems to be one of his brighter albums, though. I find album covers. I find a lot of his album covers over the years have been very dark.
Yeah.
I remember the last album. Well, there was Strange Rain, which was just like it kind of looked like a little bit of like a Hunger Games type symbol looking with fire and everything. But I remember The Storm was pretty dark. Like he's kind of just out there in the rain and stuff.
Came out.
He's got a very like metal style to him, which is probably why there's a lot of metalheads who actually love Tech N9ne.
He's at Heavy MTL in Montreal this year. That's our big metal festival. It's pretty dope.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, for real. Just as you said that. I don't know. Does the album cover do anything for you, really?
I thought it was fine. It's like it doesn't really stand out to me in a positive or a negative
It's something
way.
you'll remember.
It's like it's nice. I don't know if it is something I'll remember because I saw it earlier and I already forgot what it was.
I don't remember it. Like I said, to me, this is gonna be like you gotta remember. Like if I had a bunch of his albums in front of my face, this is a way to just differentiate between them. You know?
Yeah. For me, I think one of the biggest differentiators for this album is just the title of it and the word framing. Because Tech N9ne Planet, it almost sounds like that might be the name of the album, like Tech N9ne Planet. This is my planet.
Right.
And that by itself, there's just that little quirk it sticks with me, whereas the cover itself doesn't so much.
Fair enough.
Right, so let's get into this. What's that first one?
Habanero?
Yeah, that, whatever.
Let me hear you talking, I'm so far away.
All right, so it starts off with us arriving at Planet Payun, and then, we have a song. Christopher, please, could you tell us how it is about?
well, once we get to planet, what is it, Payun?
I copied and pasted.
We actually, once we exit out the aircraft, there's a Speed'em mobile that is going to arrive and get us a little bit of his famous song that, isn't all that great. And then, of course, we've got Tech N9ne coming in, and he's basically just giving us a verse that is technically proficient, speeding through it, chopping up and doing what he does. But he's basically just saying that he's better than you. The song itself, for me, it's just another Tech N9ne song. As much as I love him and I love everything he does, it's starting off the album with "I'm better than you, I'm on fire," and I was like, I get it. This is something I've heard before. It's not anything different. Although what it's lacking is energy. For me, I didn't feel there was any energy in this song. I felt it very just kind of what it is. Like, just put this on the radio and this is it and we're done. There wasn't that spark. A line I liked was "Nobody touching the Tech N9ne. If you feeling you can do better than you're a dreamer. I'm gonna live and giving critics the middle finger." I was like, well, yeah, he's been telling fucking people to stop hating on him, telling critics he's gonna tell them to go fuck themselves multiple times. But I do enjoy when he does Tech N9ne. It's something that I like saying around it. Other than that, Mackenzie Nicole did a really great job. I listened to some of her older things on other projects, but essentially I gave the song a 3.5.
Interesting. I think I liked it a bit more. I thought the beat was pretty nice. I
agree with that.
It grew on me. Like the slow acoustic guitar during the hook with these bassy drums and this electric guitar buildup was kind of cool. And then during the verses, it was kind of dubsteppy at points. And it was focused primarily on Tech's vocals, which I think is where he really delivers, the dense percussion-y rhymes in this song. Like, it kind of puts him at the forefront, which is where he needs to be. He's a vocal percussionist. There's some lines there, where I feel like, he wants to really show off just that rhyme density on the first track. So he's got some lines here that stand out in terms of their rhyming structure, like "Nothing identical, bussin', I'ma make no fucking bug, I'm crushing thy tentacle. Suckers be huffin' and puffin' cause I touchin' my pinnacle, cussin' my Midas flow, now they women is sucking my genitals." Or, "And never listen to see if you habanero. So I'm stuck in the booth and I'm calling feral. I'm sweating with every second, destined like I'm an arrow, aiming right at your chest, and if you fucking with my dinero." It's like very flavorfully placed words that rhyme, and that is kind of the Tech N9ne trademark, in my opinion. Like, that's the thing he does pretty consistently. In pretty much every song, he always is able to deliver that dense rhyme flow with interesting vocabulary choices that most rappers would not think to use, like more advanced vocabulary and interesting words.
Like ignominious.
Right.
Ignominious. Sorry, I don't know how to say the fucking word.
But at the same time, he's not really pushing a cohesive message or idea or theme in this song that I'm getting sucked into. So that's kind of where this song falls a little short for me, but I really do enjoy it. I think it's got a great vibe. I think he sounds great on it. I gave it a 4.
So I like this one even more than that. I feel like, first of all, he starts us off addressing the name of the album. Cool. There's something to it. Then he comes in and, look, there's something about when Tech N9ne goes, "They're not giving me the love I'm due." That's true. And I can't hate him for saying it. Like, if anyone else were to say that, you might be able to be like, yeah, but there's Tech N9ne. Now we're talking about him. So really, name me one better. I can't. I can't name you an indie guy who should have more respect and admiration from the greats than this guy does. I mean, fuck, he got Eminem on a song.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wasn't that also like a favor? Like, it wasn't, he didn't pay Eminem for a verse.
Exactly.
Eminem's like, yo, I'll come on one for you and you come on one for me. Like, that's the kind of respect he has.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I can't deny it. Now, like, say what you will, even with the way Ryan did it, it was too slow. It wasn't tricky enough for how Tech delivered it, because it's not like just the rhyme structure. It's the way that this mechanically constructed flow is done. Now, that doesn't need to be said. You all know that. It's Tech N9ne. I mean, I don't agree, though, that this song lacked passion, and I don't agree that this song lacked cohesiveness. This song is almost like him lashing out, and there's a little bit of Tech lashing out, but that I expect from him. If there was anything I would to expect from him, it's that his ego is hurt still because the world is not giving him the love he feels. So he's going to lash out. He's going to try super hard because he has to floss that he's the best while saying he's the best. Now, I can tell you one thing. The flows I heard on this album justify the lyrics behind them.
Yeah.
And they weren't bad lyrics. Like, welcome to my planet, we damage and we can chop. Killers with the advantage, we managed to be the top. Competition ain't no better because we the head of the flop. We made the planet rock. Now I'm going to make your credit drop, and it stops. And then I realized all that's pretty true, right? Like, when other people say it, it's not necessarily quite as true as when Tech N9ne says it. He is doing the things he's accomplishing. He's put in the work, the accolades, the ethic, the everything. It took him 20 years and shit. All right, he's the exception to the rule. He's allowed to be like this because of that, in my opinion.
I'm going to add just a critical argument for you to, argue against, which is, so you're claiming that Tech N9ne, is doing this thing that's the same thing that people, other people do, but it's more true when he does it. So he has more of a right to say it.
Yeah, kind of.
But wouldn't you also acknowledge that if that's the case, as an artist, is like a great artist like Tech N9ne, wouldn't you want to just avoid even touching the ground that these other artists are covering and do something
because
that's...
Tech N9ne comes from 90s hip-hop, and that's what you do in 90s hip-hop.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm sorry, but it's a hip-hop thing to do. If you can prove that you're the best and then say that you're the best, isn't that what all the other ones are doing? The thing is that when Tech N9ne says it, you can make an academic debate as to how he's a contender. Whereas when a lot of other guys say it, it's clearly just not true, So I'm about framing. If you're not the best, know what you're the best at. Tech N9ne knows he's the best at flows, rhyming, and his independent powerhouse machine. That's what he says he's the best at. I can't knock him at that. You don't hear him saying I'm the best person. You do hear him say I made a lot of money last year. So does fucking Forbes. So, I don't hate him for that. He's stating facts, not emotional opinions per se.
Fair enough.
And so if you really rationalize it, I appreciate where you're coming from. I'm just saying that I think Tech N9ne is in the one unique position to make that claim. Now, we're talking 6-7 years of being number one. This is a bit it's hard to deny. In fact, it's kind of weird he's not more mainstream,
Right.
So I get where he's coming from. I felt the melody on this hook proved his songwriting. His fusion of genres is priceless. And I don't know. I really dug this. This is a 4.5 to me. This is a song I might not go back to a lot. There were a few I liked more than this on the album. But objectively speaking, if you had never discovered Tech N9ne before and this was your first Tech N9ne experience, this song's fucking amazing. Now, maybe if you've heard 20 albums of Tech N9ne, your objective's skewed. And so I'm trying to approach this fresh. It's been years since I've really listened to Tech. I mean, I actively avoided him for a couple of years now because I got saturated. This was a fresh fucking song with interesting flows, great energy, and my favorite part, he put 19 tracks on this album, but it's only 3 minutes, and most of these songs are short, so you never really feel like this long, drawn-out experience, right? So it was pretty tight to me. Anyway, we spent quite a while on this one, which is fair. So we got fresh out on to the next song.
But the people, they made me a monster. I need to get away and made me some contra. Been in my head, I'm going crazy.
Alrighty, Chrissy.
So we've got Kriss Kaliko on the intro, introducing Tech N9ne. This song right off the bat feels like actually the intro song for me. It's got a heavier anthem sound to it. It's got this whole spectacular intro, introducing Tech, making sure that everybody's ready for this crazy experience we're about to get. And then Tech N9ne goes right in again with his machine gun flow, and what kind of sounds like he seems to be going a little bit faster on this track, but I'm not sure if that's just if he's actually going faster or if it's just the background beat, because there's a really quick drum sample that keeps going. One of the lines I liked from Tech was, but the people, they made me a monster. I need a getaway and may need some contra. Band in my hand, I'm going crazy and bonkers like I'm rich and my baby's Ivanka.
Also my favorite set of lines.
Shit, okay, sending shots at Trump. That's insane. And then we've got the chorus is just what Fresh Out of Fucks. I was like, okay, they're repeating the chorus. It was nice. It it had energy to it. It was I guess aggressive if you want to say that, but it didn't really hold much meat to it. It just kind of repeated itself. And then we have Swisher Sleep. And one of the lines I liked from him was, "'Cause every time I come with it, the winner victor definitive pen and pad penning and penning it, and the pyramid I'm making it permanent here to stay, and initiative trying to get it and fit it in where the position is." And just, I know I butchered it and I apologize, but the way he said that and the way he delivered that was just super on point. I find he stands up next to Tech N9ne. Personally, he super quick, and the way that he formulated some of his words, it just sounds like he was in double time as well as going even quick on the song. It was really great. And then I like the split between Tech N9ne and Swisher in the third verse. There was nothing really much for me to quote there. But essentially the song's just basically saying they don't give a fuck and they're the best rappers and they're just spitting some really crazy techniques and some crazy bars. I give it a 4 on 5.
That's interesting. Tech here is fresh out of fucks to give. This beat is really electronic and weird. It's full of synthy sounds. It's decently original in sound, which at first I kind of respected, but very quickly I found the synths became more distracting and grating than interesting as a melody. They kind of pull the listener's attention away from the vocals, which is kind of where I tend to want to gravitate to. And they kind of almost reminded me of like a hyperactive phone notification system at some points. But I also those lines that you quoted were my favorite. I actually laughed at the Ivanka line. I thought that was pretty great. I didn't really expect like politics from Tech N9ne in that way, like that kind of direct call. And I guess that's just like
still tongue in cheek, right? Like,
yeah.
It wasn't
oh
so
no,
direct.
of course. But I was a little surprised by it. It was funny. The flow's dope, but the flow's always dope with Tech. This song to me didn't have as much substance as I would have liked, or it didn't say anything I found particularly interesting. So for that reason, I gave it a 3.6.
All right, so I review metal also every now and again. And every time I review metal, I get met with the same encounter. The lyrics don't matter. You gotta, listen to the flow of the song. You gotta hear it, It's about the sound. It's about the energy.
It doesn't sound like me this time.
No, it's not you. And it's everyone. I get that a lot. And so I tried that out. Now, when I first came in with this beat, I love it. Now, I can appreciate why it's not gonna be everyone's fucking cup of tea. It's my cup of tea. Just that kind of mosh pit shit where you really want to fucking break out and have a good time. So I could feel the energy on this, and it was amazing to me. It kept me awake, we'll call it. Flows are amazing, as always. But first of all, Swisher Sleep kills it. I don't know. If he can hold down a whole album, I'm highly interested. I really like lines like, "Not a pity party, but I'm fed up with the hatred, and now they want to spit upon a hit with gentle faces, and not even knowing we sick and mental cases. I open up the mo with a fully and dental they shit." I don't know. I got confused at the end of us reading that. Sometimes it's hard to follow his grammar because he's more about the rhymes. But I love it, man. It's intense, and the intensity of the lyrics kind of makes me feel like some 90s hip hop and stuff, right? Like, it really is that same kind of grandiose, I'ma fuck you up shit that we listen to all the time on the Classic Quest, right? And I'm just seeing Tech do it, but with his flair and style, and I can't hate it, My absolute favorite, "I'll tackle a pterodactyl and shackle him on right on the back of him." Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Okay, I want to do that. Anyway, slapping them in the abdomen, Harvey with the wings flapping. Like, he's still talking about the pterodactyl. Amazing. We fly into strange land and demanding a pretty penny. I'm popping on the collar like I'm hiding a hinky. I am who the suckers pretend to be. Get offended by me. They depend on my energy. That's a penalty. Finna be remedied by the epitome of an enemy. Like, it's just, there's so much language here to absorb. So much goodness. Now, song cohesiveness, they're flossing talent. I don't need more than that. Honestly, this is a high talent song. That's what I'm expecting from Tech. And if you think about him in the frame of why people listen to metal, they're listening for complex flossing guitarists. That's what Tech N9ne is. Tech N9ne is the fucking rapper for metalheads. That's what he is. Anyway, 4.5 on 5. I love the energy of this song. I agree with everything you guys said. I just don't care as much as the feel and enjoyment I have for this. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I guess Holden's kicking it with himself, then.
On this one, I am.
Hey!
Reclusive with drug and liquor abuses. Having a solitary time is never the worst thing. What we doing? Dedicating time.
Oh. So, for this song, I like the beat. The beat is super heavy. It's got heavy drums, heavy guitar. I got a sense that Tech N9ne is accepting the fact that he's working alone. As part of the annotation on Genius, apparently at this point of making the album, he had no one else who really wanted to be on the album, so he was just accepting it, doing it by himself. So,
is that actually where this came from?
Yeah, yeah, like nobody was there.
That's
Although
cool.
I found it a little weird because the first song has a feature, so I was just like,
Well, I think it might have just been like, I got the feel like you could just picture Tech in the studio on a Tuesday, ready to make the song. Who's in the song?
yeah.
Are you there? No.
Hey yo, yo.
Wait, really? Like nobody wants to come beyond this track? Fuck it. I'll kick it with myself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like one of the lines where he goes, "I survive living in my mind." That line is for the people serving time, kicking it with myself. Created 9 over time. That's why I'm one of the best that rippin' rhymes, Nina. And it's like, and it's true. When you spend so much time on your own, you start developing. Now I kind of look at it as like he's developing his Tech N9ne character, but I also kind of think of it maybe he's like, you know, imaginary friend, you know, if he does mention like he's being on his own and he's kind of secluded from like the world.
I think it's his character.
It is his character. That's 100% it. But
And it's your imaginary friend.
well, it could be my imaginary friend. I want to be
Anyway,
friends with him.
Go on.
Anyway, that kind of sounded like a self-pep talk a little bit, which was pretty cool. I like when he went, some say I'm a misfit by the way that I'm drifted, but this gets the business, chips, bitches, I'm gifted. And I can totally agree. He's weird, he's different, he's unique, but that's working. It is working for him, and he doesn't really know why he should change if it's getting him bitches, money, paper, whatever you want to consider it. So that's just real honesty right there. And obviously, Tech N9ne doesn't really give a shit about what you think. I think it was really great. He had that passion there. He had that sense of, you know, being okay with doing it on his own. He knows where his pride is. He knows what he's worked on. Gave him a 4 on 5 on this track.
That's pretty fair. Yeah, it's got this pretty cool electronic synthy and bassy sound. There was stuff in there where, you know, like there's some lyrics in there that I actually dug a fair amount. Like, I think this might have been the opening of the track where he was like, I was the only child till I was 13. Rather than being lonely while dealing with earthlings, still I am reclusive with drug and liquor abuses. Having a solitary time was never the worst thing. Dedicated to the craft, levitating lines in the lab, never hesitating rhymes hit the pad. When they resonate, 9 get the bag. Then I medicate, the mind is the first thing. He's got, it's cool. He weaves in and out of these different rhyme structures. I don't know if this was like intended by him, but levitating is a very particular choice of words. And then he has a song later on the album called Levitation. So I have a feeling it may have been self-referential, especially in a song that's talking about kicking it with myself. But yeah, I just, I dug that. I also dug, he had this part where he's like, I done made millions living in the clouds. When I'm out with the crowd, I am still one. Yep. I go to a sacred place like a pilgrim. In the mind, I'm on an island like I'm Wilson. I dug that.
Wilson. It was more like he screamed.
Like he screams.
Yeah,
I remember
Wilson.
mine.
Yeah.
Wilson.
Man.
Like it is
No, but
so.
It's also really cool because the line right after is "People see me drift away," which just ties right into it.
That's
right?
a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun track. You know, this is like not one that I would actively like go in search of, but I'd listen to this if it came on pretty happily. I gave it a 3.9.
Nice.
Yeah, so Ryan kind of jacked like every lyric I wanted to say off of this.
Good job, Ryan.
All I'm left with is "People see me drift away," but what I like is that he ties it into the Wilson line. And then when the brain is working, I never hear all the shit you say, which I can really relate to because sometimes people talk. My mind's just working on problems, and what they're saying is whatever. It's kind of like background noise on my TV. Why they pissed today? Because whatever they say to me ricochet. They don't dig the way I laugh after a big delay. So you just picture him, right? Like Kriss walks in, tells me some crap. I'm just sitting there ignoring him. I just start laughing. And Kriss is like, what the fuck? And that's probably happened. And so that's why I really, really enjoyed that line.
More than you can remember.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Musically, the song's all right. I would say it's a little on the less impressive end. So it's still great. It's still a good song. There's nothing here that's bad. Nothing more to really say on it. So 4.25. I enjoy the energy. I enjoy the talent and the display. But the most important thing is in that first part you quoted, I appreciate his honesty and it's not so much self-depreciating like what Louis C.K. does. It's more just I'm in touch with my weaknesses and my failures, and I'm okay with telling you that I might have these flaws, but I'm still comfortable kicking it with myself. And I think part of the message of the song is you can't have bags like me until you can kick it with yourself. And as far as song concepts and structures go, this one held its cohesiveness the whole way through. Is worthy of saying that. Anyway, it's a good track. Next one is Drink Up.
Because it's their decision. Why they got the bottles and models around them fizzing. Why?
Kriss, talk to us. Tell us about drinking up and hangovers and all the bad stuff.
Okay, well, so I get that Tech N9ne has a drinking problem. That's what I'm getting from the first verse. But I also get that he's refusing to get help after people have kind of acknowledged this and been like, hey, you might need to get help. So I'm like, oh, all right, you don't want help, okay. Essentially, I think he's trying to justify it, saying that like he can drink because he's done his job, he's worked, he's rich now, he's like kind of celebrating, which, hey, totally fine, but I mean, if it's becoming a problem, it's still a problem whether you're rich or poor, just saying. And then I get like in verse 2, that's initially verse 1 for me. That's kind of what I got. I didn't quote anything much. Verse 2, you've got Tech N9ne questioning why people are hating on him, why like they shouldn't be hating for what he's doing. It's not something that is really appealing to him. He feels like his flow is fantastic and people should be able to like just kind of agree with that. And I didn't get much from this. I feel like the song itself was boring. The flow was nice, but the song itself was boring. I feel like he's basically just promoting to just drink even if you have a problem, and it's not really like it doesn't matter what people think or if people care about you. Just do what you think is right and just do it. Which, again, if it's a problem, it's a problem. And then the only part that I really kind of felt like he was trying to show us a little bit of light or like a consequence was when he says, get a couple of Rice Krispie edibles out the stash. Hold up. We's about to have another blast. Got up out her clothes, ready to go. And then I crashed. Gone. Basically ending the entire song with, you know, when you're partying this much and when you have this much excitement and when shit starts getting out of hand and you start mixing and taking drugs and stuff like that, shit gets crazy and you could die. But I
think I was falling asleep.
Oh. Well, I took it as die.
I took it like he makes some stuff and he was about to get his dick wet and he fell asleep before that was.
Well, that still sucks too. But
I mean, it does,
even with
way
that,
less.
hold on. Even with that, it's still then that's even worse because that doesn't even show
How
me
is
no
that
hope.
worse than dying?
Because my whole point is
No.
my whole point is there's no like silver light. I felt like he was just basically saying like go accept your drinking problem and do what you have to do.
I see what Kriss is saying. I think he's making the claim that you know, the song would have had more substance if it had actually had a message around like leading up to this moment. It's drinking is great and like, but be careful about the shit that you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
So
more
I
or
agree
less.
with your point, but I do think there's more of a message to it.
Well, just so I can wrap up though, because I'm done. I gave this song a 2.5. I just would not play this. I do not like it.
Interesting. What would you say the point of the song is?
Well, take an example. The first part, he has his chorus where he talks about himself.
Yeah.
And he sounds all like broken and alcoholic-y and
right.
but whatever, but he's committed. Then he goes into talking about they, right? The first thing in the verse is not about him right away. It's why they sipping. Why? Because it's their decision. Why they got the bottles and models about him thizzing. Why? Because they make a living, etc. And then the whole first is about they, and then he flips it back onto they have a problem with us because they're drunk. and they're almost jealous of us.
didn't
And we
catch
can
that.
handle our liquor, and they can't. Now, I may have missed the point of the song, but unless I'm mistaken, it's Tech N9ne and his people can handle drinking like this day in, day out. And you can't handle drinking like this day in out. And when you're drunk, you make stupid choices that he doesn't make per se. So let him do his thing, because he can do his thing, and you can't handle it as well, and others don't. Now, I might be wrong, but that's how, because if you look at the grammar on the verse structures, it goes from a they to an I in the second half of the verse and a we thing, addressing multiple groups of people.
I'll give that to you, and that only mildly improves the song to me.
That's fine. I'm not like trying to defend that this is the greatest Tech N9ne song ever.
Yeah.
I was trying to
it's not.
say that I think that the point wasn't quite what Kriss was saying it was. On the other hand, it does kind of come off like he's a bit of a alcoholic who enjoys the process and doesn't want to give it up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here's actually like my thoughts. I listened to this, and my immediate reaction is that one, that beat is great. It's fucking funky as shit. Like it's got the vibes and
feel
like
it.
the pitch bending and the bassy
vibe
synth
it.
and the
I'm with
trappy
him.
drums. You know, like it's catchy. I liked it a lot.
Fair?
The thing is that it came across to me as two things that I don't think are very good. One is like it's the marketed party song. We got to get that party demographic. And so like the moment I heard this, all I can think about is like this is the business decision of like I have to put out the party track for the partiers to enjoy. And to me it's like I'm not that demographic, and I also
Really? That's what you took?
that's one of the things. The other thing I took from it,
I can see that.
the other thing that I took is it seems like a pretty tacit endorsal of the like getting fucked up lifestyle, which, you know, it's not really something I want to hear from a person of Tech's age and experience. Like, you know, there's like tons of kids who listen to his shit, and I don't get me wrong, like I don't have a problem with people going out and getting fucked up and stuff, but I feel like when you have that kind of power and you're just putting this on a pedestal, and it's the kind of thing that, you know, some people have this alcohol as like the central demon of their life, like throughout their life. I don't know. I didn't see much value, whereas I could see potential harm in the message of the song. But then at the same time, that beat though.
It's not just
The beat, though, it's that flow.
Yeah, the flow's great, but the beat is so
the
funky.
flow though, you can never. I am not going, and I'm going to state this for me. I'm not going
Yeah.
to sit here and say the flow is ever shit on any of his verses. He is amazing at the flow that he does, the way he controls it, the way he jumps around. But you can be a really fast chopping rapper, but if you're promoting alcoholism for me, and it might be my ignorance or me not understanding
I'm
the
looking at
song.
it a little bit different.
But
if he's supposed to be keeping it real, and this is his life, and this is what he does, because I didn't take this like a marketing move.
Mm-hmm.
I took this like everyone tells him to stop drinking, so as an addict, he said, fuck you, and wrote this song.
fair.
And I felt it was a personal move, honestly.
Yeah?
I feel like this is... I understand addict behavior, and often you'll be told you should stop doing certain things. And you know what happens when you as an addict get told you shouldn't do a certain thing?
You get
write a
mad.
song like this. They're haters. They can't handle it. I'm not going to go into specifics in my life, but I've watched how certain people's inability to handle certain things projects into their opinion of you and how you should live your life. So I can only imagine that the way Tech N9ne lives his life, especially at his age, encourages it. And he's too oblivious to make the connections that we're having this conversation on. Like, he's just too oblivious for that shit. He doesn't care.
Okay.
So for me, it wasn't a
Maybe.
business choice. Because the beat was dope. It was a necessary song variation to go with the slower kind of whatever. For the album, it made total sense to keep me engaged and not have me getting bored so that you weren't sitting there complaining about how it's the same thing.
But you know, okay, so this is my counter argument to your argument, because I'm thinking about it more.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm
No, I
just
know,
saying it
but
is.
I have a counter argument, which is that
It's firing up.
I think the reason my mind immediately shot to this as a business move is I've heard enough rap artists talk about, you know, the importance of appealing to, you know, the different markets and the different demographics and knowing like how to make songs that are going to fit different niches. And I've also seen the way that strange music employs that, and so many of their artists do this. They'll have like that. This is the party track, or these are the party tracks on my CD of different things.
Yeah.
And so I've seen it enough that it's reinforced my sense of like, yes, this is behind the scenes. There is like a discussion about, hey, if you want your album to really be poppin', like you should put this or this or this in it. You know,
against that is that Tech does it organically, and everyone else sounds contrived. Because keep in mind, this is Mr. Caribou, and like half his career has always had this heavy drinking element. Like for him, it's just part of his brand. And for everyone else, it might be something different.
It's interesting. I didn't even realize that that was a part of Tech N9ne's brand. I've heard a lot of his songs, but I've
like,
never.
When I got into him,
is like one of his.
I can't think of Tech N9ne and not think of drinking. It's one of the. That's part of the party the pain away subject I described earlier on. It's so part of his brand and image that I would be shocked if there weren't 4 songs specifically about getting fucked up.
I wouldn't.
In fact,
say
he does less
I'd
drugs
say
now.
Monster.
He does less stuff now. Back then, it was a lot more Molly and stuff that he was on, and so he was rapping about what he did at the time. So, you're as a role model, I agree with you. As an artist, I don't want to put that censorship on the dude. So that's just where I stand on that. I give this a 4. I think it's a decent song. It's totally not one of the ones I see myself going back to, but that beat though,
as well
as the fact that his flow was the perfect flow, the perfect voice, the perfect choice. So the only area I think he's failing in is really subject matter. And I don't want to... I've been criticized in the past for being too heavily weighted on the subject matter, so I'm not going to do that here, and I'm going to give it the 4.
Well, it's funny because despite all of the debate, I am actually giving it a 3.8, so we're pretty close.
Yeah, fair enough.
I do really like this track, and I do think that it does feel good to have that change of pace. I'm just, you know, I have some criticism despite that.
It's all right. Don't nobody want none.
Of this song.
They have a lot of regrets. My creation is shaking the planet Earth. Everybody better.
This is an incredible song. Right off the bat, you've got this like techno DJ, old school 90s but futuristic sound right off the bat.
Al Nafi-ish is the soul, basically.
Thank you. And I really like what Tech N9ne did with it. I like how he's paying homage to the DJs. He's paying homage to the old school hip hop. And just to talk about the music video a little bit, the whole feel throughout this entire song, including the video, there's breakdancing, there's DJing, there's again, you got Tech N9ne looking a little bit futuristic. That would be like the techno futuristic part of the song, and everything ties well together. One thing I really, really liked was when Tech N9ne goes, I like when he, no, that's me. Everybody better kneel down. That's like the robotic sound that says kneel down. Any opposition will drown, so don't you make a mistake with the Yates. Get some plan of escape, you better break. And right at the break, he stops, and then they have this nice little, again, this like techno DJ little play out before the chorus comes in, and that's really nice. That was a little paying homage to older albums that we've already covered on Classic Quest that used to do that. So that was really great. All around, I like the I liked it when he paid homage to Africa Bambaataa, when he went
Boo you, screw you, to fool you through. This how we do in the zoo, me zoo 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 zoo. Anyway.
So that was again bringing home like the old school hip hop and still representing that message. Like he's really about the culture and really paying homage to it. I thought this was fantastic. I loved it. Although I did give it a 4 on 5.
You know, I really appreciate all of those elements that you guys are describing, like the callback to hip hop culture. You know, with this classic sampled track. I think that's really cool. I think the problem for me, and I hate to be a naysayer here, is that I do not like the sound of this sample beat.
You naysayer.
Like, it, you know, it's got that, like, almost like, is it from the 80s? Is that when this original track's from?
Like from one of the older b-boy culture.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's from the 80s, and in general, I often don't find that a lot of the 80s music has aged super well. And this is not an exception for me. That 80s like a lot electronica sound, I actively don't like it. So that's unfortunate for me. There were moments that I did enjoy. I think my favorite line in the track is just where Tech says, The beat I broke never needed my chin hair to be thy goat. I like that little play on words.
The beat
like
I broke never needed my chin hair to be thy goat.
Yeah. But aside from that, this is one of my least favorite songs on the album, unfortunately. So I gave it a 3.
I love this song.
Still
I think
a
it's
pass.
one of the best songs on the album. The way he flies off this beat, it's like Tech N9ne was meant for this kind of a beat. Like, it's so funky, it's so fresh. I mean, even like the lyrics, like, look at him copy me trying to get of the boss with a lot of mediocrity, stalking the properties, want to get off in my monopoly. Hey, tell me who is the one they call Socrates?
Socrates.
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 No, but I think he actually pronounced it as Chocrates. Like, I don't think he says it.
No,
though.
he says Socrates.
Yeah,
he
but
uses
it's
it.
spelled as Chocrates or whatever.
That's weird,
Anyway,
but it's Socrates. He said it in different songs before.
anyway, I will see. Anyway, it's pretty solid there. Or the agony of defeat, depravity, and tragedy it had to be of a chief. See my technique and they come to try to steal it, but they cannot duplicate how I kill it. Fakers will never compare to the realist. Tech is a murderer given up until they feel it. Honestly, man, from a songwriting perspective, there's so much to learn here.
Yeah.
This is where he shines. It's alive. It's 3 minutes. So much happens. And I can just see myself dancing to it. It's a perfect vibe.
Do the Tech N9ne dance.
This is
Do the Tech N9ne
like,
spin around in
if you were
circle
to make
dance.
an example of the best points of this guy's talent, I think this is one of the strongest songs he's ever released. It's a 5 on 5 to me. It is
Jeez.
really powerful hip hop, in my opinion. That's okay. Y'all don't have to agree. You could think I have some bad juju.
Wop that are so cute, so true. Already be so much we go through. Now we gotta rid.
When I found out that Tech N9ne was dropping a new album, when Holden told me that this was the next album we're reviewing, I instantly went to the Spotify page and bumped the first 2018 track that was out, and it was this one. And by God, I was loving it. I loved having Tech back into my life. Start off, that creepy little intro into the jungle was super cool. It gave me this little bit weird feel, like I was kind of creeping through a bush, and then I'm seeing this like tribal dancing around, playing upon the fact that it's called bad juju, all this like kind of voodoo magic. And then we got Tech N9ne coming in with that quick, nice flow, warning people again that messing with him is a very, very bad idea. But not just him, Tech N9ne and his crew as well. And he's got these play on, like these I don't know how to exactly say it, but these letter syllable play words that he uses. And I just love it when he goes, Mrs. made me mad as Mozzie. Man, the
That's
motive
called
was...
alliteration.
Thank you. I've learned something on this podcast. Mrs. made me mad as Mozzie. Man, the motive must been made of Molly. Millie maximize a mess with a mind of Malcolm X and a martyr man whose mom is Modi.
I love that.
It's just he did the same type of like M rhyming on
Eba.
on Eba. He did it on Crisis.
Many times.
Like I love what he does that. The chorus is pretty catchy. Nothing really, just it's catchy to listen to. It wasn't really quote worthy, but I like how he presents it and how he brings it out. And then you have King ISO. Now I don't know if this is ISO who used to work with Twisted Insane, but I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of just changed his name. He sounds the same. I like when he goes, I don't want to check a temp neither to two MCs. I'm the Grim Reaper. So anybody coming at me tripping like you ran around the world with 10 visas, but bet I really get to pull in everybody's card like I had a chip reader. And I was just like, that just sounded really
good.
nice. That was pretty savage. Other than that, they seem to both be equally standing up against each other. Tech N9ne still holds that title, but I can see that there's some artists who have been working with him who are starting to actually be as quick as him and have a little bit of different flair. So I'm not saying he's got competition, but eventually the student might pass the master. That's all I got to say. I gave it a 4 on 5.
Cool. I really like this song. This was, I think, the first song I listened to on this album where my ears like really perked up almost immediately, and that's because the beat on this fucker is excellent. The drums mixed with Tech's vocal percussion in the intro are a really interesting way to open up. Then you've got this brassy sound that comes in and builds the sound up, along with increasing new drums being added in regularly for a while, giving it this sense of growing and expanding and getting more intense as it goes on. It's like hyper percussion. And with Tech's voice, it really makes for a great sounding track. You know, the lyrics, there was not like a ton that popped out to me as far as like content goes. It is Tech N9ne, and it wasn't one of those moments where he like popped out like a track where I was like narratively sucked into it.
Right.
However, there are a lot of great moments with flow and imagery and the word choices that he uses. Like, this is tribal, stick his rival in the mouth right with a blow, then he gets this pyro. Young punk better lie low, somewhere probably up in Cairo. With a Bible, when a psycho, wanna give a hater lipo. When the knife go, with the quickness, you so full of bitchness. You trip flipping on chicks, but a b-boy make him wanna shit bricks. This is vicious. You know, and like that, just that continuous, like, that's the kind of interesting, like, you're just like
syllable play.
It's one of the things that Tech N9ne does really well, because where I'm critical at points about how I don't feel he always can drive a theme to, you know, an interesting point or to completion. At the same time, he it's not necessarily that you have to do that. You can be a really great rapper who's, you know, abstract. And I think Tech N9ne actually does the abstract stuff pretty well. I think this song is a good example of that. I really enjoyed it. I gave this a 4.3.
Nice.
I liked it.
Did you?
Yes, thanks, Kriss, with your ad-libs on everybody's comments. Ultimately, I feel like King Izo was extremely impressive. He really, like Kriss quoted the part I thought was cool from him, but he really held his own. I definitely don't think this guy will ever be better than Tech N9ne. Like, no offense to him. He really just did all of sorts of older Tech N9ne stuffs, redone it with a newer voice and a different sound. So it's cool. But, like, he stands well next to Tech N9ne. But it's really interesting because when you go think about, like, older albums and stuff, there's all those crew songs. And you know who the guy is, the main ones are, but you never really remember the guys in the crew so well, is all I'm trying to say.
Fair.
Especially when they, like, switch up as often. Like, I don't know how long this guy's been around. Maybe it's 5 years. Maybe it's whenever. But, you know, it's hard to keep track of them is what I'm saying. Because they all sound like Tech N9ne on these songs, which kind of takes away from a little bit of the distinction.
I was actually...
Like, the alliteration is not interesting when Tech N9ne does it anymore, because half the words in that M thing are the ones from E-Bob, because there's only so many ways you can make a bunch of M words string together and literally have it make sense. Not to say it's not enjoyable. It's just not impressing me much. I do like lines like, all of my children are grown and I'm feeling like they love me, but don't really like me, I'm illin'. I'm no longer locked into marriage, I'm careless, so any one of my loved ones you funk, I'll inherit. That's honest and really fucking deep to think about, right?
Yeah.
Like, his kids love him but fucking don't like him. I can relate with that shit. Anyway, it just kind of goes through, like, this is my fury. Fuck being in a zooty. I tried that. Never keep it. Got on my lap, talking so cheap, but when it don't end with the grieving, I'm ready for the battle. Bring it this evening. Like, you just get this sense that he's, after all this time, the tenacity he still brings to it. It's amazing to me. That I can give him a lot of love for. But this song, it's a 4.25. Like, it's a good song. It's not one of the best ones he's done. It's not one of the worst ones either. It's really like an upper middle class song by him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm comfortable with that grade.
Nice.
Yo, but I do it well. And it's done because they're pushing for 9 and crew to sell. But I get up in the...
All right, Kriss.
I don't have much to say about this song. I like the beat to it. It sounds nice. It didn't really have no vibe for me. I feel like the voice being used is cool. Tech N9ne doesn't seem to be like screaming or so much. He's kind of more calm and more direct with this. I feel like he's validating himself. This is one of the songs where he's kind of like, look, I know this person, I know that person, I can do this, I've met this.
That's what you took from
It's
this?
kind of what I took from it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get into the song, unfortunately. But I did enjoy the flow. Like, again, he does have crazy flow, and I'm never going to take that away from him. Just the song itself was meh. 3 on 5.
Huh.
Do you see the irony? Do you see the irony in this moment? Because there's an irony.
I'm
here.
hating because I'm hating.
The whole song, if I may, just to interject here, is kind of Tech saying, I don't want to do your interview if you're not going to take the time to research me and look me up and, like, know what I'm about. And in a little bit of a sense, there's an irony to you being like, I am bothered to listen to the song and I can figure out what it's about, etc. Because he wasn't just name dropping, right? He was calling out the places where, like, they respect him with interviews.
Yeah.
And shitting on Hot 97 for fucking around with his life last year. So, I mean,
What did they do exactly?
we'll get to it on another song because it's
Oh,
actually
I
part
know
of another song.
Okay,
so
cool.
we don't have to talk about that now. But look, this song was a very interesting approach because on the one hand, he sounds pretty whiny, right? Like he does.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, people kind of might just be asking him stupid ass questions. Like it's the journalist's job to not annoy the artist by not researching him at all. Like if you don't know who Tech N9ne is when you walk into the interview, if you're not offering him some kind of respect or some shit, you know, if you're just correlating him to Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope just all willy-nilly
Right.
and stuff, that's just ignorant shit, and it inspires some anger from him, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on about how you feel.
Well, I'd say that this song stood out, partially because of the sound. You have this kind of like electric-y sound that's in spurts during the verse while Tech unleashes a barrage of drum-sounding vocals. And it's really good. He's actually pushing a narrative here, and he's doing a pretty decent job of it and keeping it engaging. And he's also doing it, you know, over this song, which is very pleasant to listen to. When the hook comes on, there's this male singing vocalist who does a pretty good job of kind of setting the tone for the song, and then it's right back to Tech and his story. And the story is him talking about the places, at first it's about the places he is comfortable, which you would think that's what the song is about, but then it kind of leads to the place where he's not comfortable, which is doing interviews. It's clear, you know, where he's comfortable working in the studio, he's comfortable giving fans an unruly show, even if he's got to take a voyage like Coolio to rock it,
Great line.
I'm with it, but
Great
outside, it's that shit is booty hole. Yeah, like, you know, he's willing to do these things and put in that effort, and he's happy to do it, you know, but then when it comes to the studio, you know, he's not as thrilled about it unless it's people that he really trusts. So at the end, he kind of has this call out, check it, I ain't trying to do no early interviews unless it's Sway, Johnny Dare, or Bubba of the Love Sponge comfortable. And then he continues that narrative into the future verses where he talks about, you know, the Breakfast Club, which he likes. And it's just interesting to kind of hear him talking about, you know, you get this real sense for this artist who, you know, has all of the things that they love to do, right? And I think when fans imagine what it's like to be this great star, what it's like to be Tech N9ne, they probably, you know, put it on a pedestal a little bit, and they think about like, oh man, it would be so cool writing these songs and everyone loves them, and then you get to do these shows, and there's like all these like great highlights. But you've also got to do shit you hate just like any other job. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to hear that perspective coming from Tech N9ne, and also, you know, coming from the angle that Holden's bringing up, which is, you know, the frustration that he has had from his experience with some of the people who interview. But it's a mandatory part of the job. You got to get that promotion out, so you've got to do it.
Well, actually, if I may. Sorry.
No, that's it.
Did you give it a grade?
I gave this one a 4.4.
So actually, what he goes on to say is he doesn't need to do your interview anymore because he's finally big enough to not have to. So just to throw it out there,
Oh,
you
that's
can
fair.
choose to do your interview. I think the most noteworthy thing of this, man, he really sums it up with, "Yo, I'm comfortable talking to Mark Alford, who's apparently on Fox. He don't make me feel like I gotta kneel at a dark altar. His colleagues are cool, things are jolly and smooth. Anything else it'll be stupid and part awkward. Do your homework before you talk to a vet. That way you won't get no static coming from Tech." And like, I feel like he's super open to doing interviews. He's just uncomfortable with what people bring up at these interviews because they just come in and it's almost like they try to bait him or set him up to frustrate him, so he's forced into painting himself in a poor light. And I get where he's coming from. Like, look, end of the day, Tech N9ne is an OG. Like, we're talking 20 albums deep. Whatever you want to say, go read up on him. He has a pretty long wiki page, but you should get through it. That's what he's trying to say here. Anyway, I gave this one a 4.5 on 5. Cohesive thing, surprisingly interesting subject matter, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, you'd think a song about fuck your interviews would be, like, bad, but nope, he did it. He managed to make this a really engaging and interesting and personal, and, like, even as an artist, like, watch out for this, you know? Like, it's really well done. One of the best ones on this project.
Nice.
So, next up is No Reason, the Mosh Pit song.
Mosh pit. I just think you fucking with the wrong one.
So for this track, we're featuring MGK and Y2 with also Kriss Kaliko doing the intro. Right off the bat, I don't like Y2's voice for the hook. It threw me off. It sounded like I don't even know what to say without sounding like I'm trashing him, because I don't think he's bad producer, artist, rapper, but I just didn't like the voice used. On the hook, when in the little like that pre thing he did, he had a nice voice. It was fine, but then when he started singing, I was just like, it's not working. Verse 1, we have Tech N9ne talking about his city and like just putting his city on his back in a sense, and kind of just like talking about being the best again. I like it when he says, "Stop, you ain't ready to brawl. You can't hang, lock you two dead in the jaw. You claim strange, it ain't K." And I like that line because he's again making another reference to a song he did that called "It's No K." I really enjoyed that song. I enjoyed that song.
I didn't know that song, so that line went over my head.
Oh, well, I enjoyed that song. He's basically saying it's not okay in this line. And then that was pretty much the only really outstanding line that I liked. The rest of it was just typical Tech N9ne saying he's king shit, which, again, I completely accept that, and that's fine. You're good at what you do. And then the song went downhill when we got to MGK, because I completely think that MGK's verse is complete shit and shouldn't have been on this song. I don't like anything that he did. He did not do anything tricky. He comes out with saying, "You think because I wrote a pop hit that I won't pop shit? The fuck's wrong with you Pop-Tarts? I pop cherries and pop stars. You popsicles, it's not hard." And there was nothing to it. There was no flair. You came out claiming to be popping shit and hard, but your verse didn't give me nothing, no spark. No, that was shit verse. That's really it. Other than that, the song died after that for me. I just left it with a 3 on 5. They're not bad and untalented artists. I just don't think that what anybody did on this track besides Tech was good. So
Okay.
3 on 5.
Yeah, I felt differently about the MGK stuff. I'll get to that in a minute, though. The actual production of this song, I like the way it starts off with like the piano and slow bass and like the singing vocal choir, until that trappy sound comes in, and then it starts to sound a little bit too generic trap for me. But it's still all right. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's some lines that Tech throws out that are just fun to listen to with his flow. And, the Kansas City to jam with me, you damn sissies eat up an oxy, to stand stiffly in your pants with me. Never honor who bringin' the drama to the dawn. If you continue now, gonna do what I come to do. Guess what I'ma do? I just thought that was, like, cool. Him bringing up, like, the whole oxy thing which I think has become a pretty big thing in some of the hip hop scene, right? And I don't know, this idea of like, what I drew from it was you know, these artists trying to stand up in like the kind of shoes that Tech has, you know, this like person who really built himself up and deserves respect. He is the Don, as he calls himself. Machine Gun Kelly, I definitely agree that his verse was weaker overall, but I would even say that the lines that Kriss quoted I thought were pretty decent and deserve some merit.
Like, they're totally everything Kriss said they weren't. Because his last big song was that Bad Things stuff, so, like, it's relevant to where he's at with his career, where, like, people obviously didn't listen to Bloom, so they assumed he was a pop star sellout and shit, and then he's like...
I listened to Bloom. We reviewed Bloom.
It definitely wasn't a pop album. So, yes, he's right to say that. Like, Gunna's pretty fucking hyped after I listened to it a lot, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
On top of that... Anyway,
just the wordplay with pop, where he's, like, using it over and over again, and then he does it with, like, this sound effect that actually sounds kind of, like, super similar, like a gun pop. It was really cool. It was really creative and imaginative.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
The way he starts the verse... I just gotta know if you were gonna quote that.
I wasn't.
Well, I quoted the beginning.
No, you did not quote the beginning of MGK's verse. The beginning of MGK's verse is, it's only one option. You gonna need a doctor.
Right.
I ain't talking.
Yeah,
about
that was
the one
another good
from
one.
Compton.
Right.
Clever as fuck. Everything Kriss said he was missing. Then he keeps it further. Arms, feet, legs, all gone like I'm Don Corleone. Hiring James Bond. That's what I'm on. Remain calm, but aware that I'm armed and dangerous. There's a lot to unpack there. So he's comparing himself to like Biggie and shit, you know, like with that, whatever.
Yeah.
He's clearly in charge boss. He's got hitman like James Bond on there. All I'm saying is, guys coming in with that mafia shit, like he's really thinking this through. Hype. Okay, look. Not the greatest verse. I'm not trying to like sell this like it's the best MGK verse. I'm just trying to say that Kriss completely undersold this verse like it was shit. And it is not shit.
Yeah, there's stuff there
it's
worth
like
liking.
It's like a 7 on 10 MGK verse compared to what I expect from MGK's talent and proficiency. Anyway, go on, please.
But yeah, I thought it was fine. You know, overall, this song is just something that I don't super feel, but at the same time, I wouldn't turn it off. It's like perfectly in the middle of that range, so I'd give it a 3.5.
I think Y2's third verse was pretty bad. Like, I think that if there was a song on this album to point at and go the business minds behind it, it's this obvious grab at the modern pop sound. Nothing about this is the Mosh Pit song. Got me hyped up, especially with fucking MGK and shit. Like, I'm expecting some Travis Barker punk shit. Nope. Is this really what people are moshing to now? If so, damn, the state of music is me sad a little bit. It's not Mosh Pit music. I mean, if it is...
I got the impression when I was listening to it that it wasn't meant to be mosh pit music. It was meant to hit the feel of what moshing was about.
I don't give a shit. That's not cool. Don't bait and switch a motherfucker like that. Look, this track just felt strange to me, but not in the good way, just in a weird way. Like, it felt like MGK phoned it in. Y2, honestly, his voice cracks if I'm not mistaken. And Tech N9ne is Tech. So I'm giving this a 4. It's not a bad song. I imagine that if you're really into the modern sound, this is like your shit. And I can see why it's your shit. So I can't hate on it. It's just not my shit. Let's talk about Brightfall Confession.
But see the wrong with the right in me. Because the demon I was, they won't confide in me.
This is the intro to the next song. It also gives me this sense of like it's an album changer. The tone of the album is shifting to something that's not so much heavy, intense, just heavy, intense. I caught that we have Tech explaining how he studied both Islam and Christianity, how his mom married a Muslim. We find out he left at 17 and started his life, and he was afraid that whatever he did in the past, the sins and the actions are going to try to bring him down while he's on this journey of, you know, his path of succession and progress. It's a 3 on 5. I mean, it's a little intro skit. There wasn't really much for it for me.
Yeah, so as I normally do with skits, I'm not going to rate it per se, but I will discuss it. it sounded to me when I was like, after I read through it and was thinking about it and listening to it, it sounds like Tech N9ne has some guilt from his childhood. You know, he describes being raised under Christianity and Islam, but but as a self-described demon who ran away from home at 17. And the way he words it, it just feels like he felt like he ran away from more than just home. It feels like he's alluding to how he ran away from God or divinity, and the light won't confide in him anymore because now he's, you know, a demon. That's what I drew from it. I mean, you know, I might be expanding a little bit. Maybe that's more than he intended, but...
If I may, it's because the wording is worldly, which is like the material stuff. So if I were to interpret that from my understanding of the Bible, it's saying that he went and embraced the sinful habits in his life, and that took him away from God.
Yeah.
So it's that, because his mom wanted him to rap for Jesus, is something I think he says too, is his mom was cool with rap as long as he did it for God, but instead he ran away at 17 and got into the sinful pleasures of life. And now as he's trying to find redemption again, it's like he still has these temptations inside of him. That's kind of what I took from the way he worded it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I think that it serves as a really great lead-in to the actual track, the next track, Brightfall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I gave this a 4.5 because it's excellent at its job. And it's worth noting that he doesn't just say it. Like, he has like 4 or 5 little voices and effects that he uses in this 49 seconds. It's an entire experience. So anyway, let's move on to Brightfall.
This magnitude, the angel will need a gun. So much evil I saw in the past when I was bad.
This is an exceptionally interesting track, and to kind of give you the backstory and context of why, I want to just read the bio for this song on Genius. Tech N9ne took to Instagram on the 29th of August 2017 to let everyone know of a collaboration planned for his new 2018 album Planet with Joseph Bishara, composer of The Conjuring and other highly successful horror and thriller movie series. The thing is that right there makes for such an interesting track. And the reason it does is this is a guy who professionally sits down in a sound, you know, career. Like he has to create sound just like Tech does, but he's doing it in a different way. And so when they bring them together, you get this thing that sounds so cinematic, right? Because that's what this guy's background is. And Tech does a really good job of writing to it. The beat uses a bunch of different synths to create this creepy atmosphere. The drums go crazy on rhythm, but like in a somewhat unorderly crazy manner, like by design. It's a cool effect, and it really helps build up that spooky feeling mixed with the background horror sounds of effects and screams. Then at some point, some string instruments pop in, leading up to this really dope hook, and so does this piano, and it comes with this like gospel sound, like the light of angels fighting the demons in the darkness. That's the feel that I got from it. And you know, after verse 2, there's a spooky bridge that sounds like it's got like that Halloween spirit. You know, the production of this track is exceptionally good. Like maybe one of my favorite productions on the album. And I really do think that Tech does a good job of writing to this one. With lines like, "Don't you lie and deny this sick hybrid. Angel demon ain't no leaving either one. Can't take it back where you got this evil from. This magnitude, the angel will need a gun. So much evil I saw in the past when I was bad. Now I'm right, y'all. But evil remains to make the bright fall." And I also, my favorite part is probably that third verse leading into the outro, where it becomes soft as it's like... as text like, "Alive and I'm well, did I win in hell? The fight just saved my soul, 'cause time and time again when I crawl to the light I land in sin. Now my sin's so far away that darkness will never find me. Hideous, hideous, grotesque, grotesque, hideous, hideous, grotesque, grotesque." And it goes on for a while. And there's also a lead up before that that's really good. It's just an exceptionally interesting song that has a feel to it that I don't know that he is able to outperform anywhere else on this album. And I think that's because of a really interesting artistic coupling. I gave this song a 5.
Nice. Honestly, I can't word it better than what you said. I agree with everything you said. I enjoy the gospel. I enjoy that the sound of everybody coming together and on the chorus. It's just beautiful. One of the few lines I liked was, all I want is heaven, but evil forces, they follow me, plotting on my body, attempt to torch it or hollow me. I cannot let the depths of hell to raise up and swallow me. I'm trying to make it where the angels and God'll be. And you can just tell, like, he's really trying to find peace. He's really trying to find hope. He's holding on to this positive feeling that he knows he's gonna be at his promised land, his happy place. The interlude was great. I like how it kind of brings back that like you said, that Halloween feel, but also a sense of hope too, to like be better. And then the end where they're repeating that they're hideous and disgusting, it's you can really tell that Tech really kind of feels like that about himself, and he's expressing it to us, and he's letting us know that he's also like human, and he also feels certain ways. And as much as he's like, we put him on like this figure, it's like this level of power, he also is kind of like, I feel too. I deal with things too. I gave this song a 4 on 5. I think that it is very creative and just deep in what he's saying. It's just not something I would keep consistently going back to, though.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know what you consistently go back to. Seems like any
bunch of whack songs.
Anytime something's truly incredible, you're like, I don't want to go back to that. Like,
I
you
think
go
it's
your
just-
way to
it's-
specify it.
I think it's just because like the extremely incredibleness of it is like, I have to be in a specific mood to want to feel like that again. And a lot of the songs I like listening to are when I'm commuting to like work or whatnot, or like just bumpy songs.
I do want to throw in there, just as a point to make, that you can tell that this is intended to be one of the stronger songs on the album by the fact that he created that interlude into it. It puts like extra emphasis on it, right? He really wanted to set it off on the right foot and give you the context to properly enjoy this song. And the fact that he thought to do that, and he thought doing that was important enough to add an extra track, to me speaks volumes about what Tech thought of the song.
That's fair. I think this song is a really interesting exploration into, you know, the battle between his struggle for good and evil. I think almost every lyric in this track is quotable. Like, nearly all of it is. Like, it's so emotionally charged in the writing. It's a very cohesive theme. Everything has been said about the cinematic nature of the track. It is truly an experience to hear it. Like, there's entire pauses sometimes, like 5-10 seconds of stuff happening between like the second and third verse, where for a second you're like, did the song end? But no, it's just the progression of the, you know, whole thing. But you just got lines like, "Knee in God's yard, can I repent the sin gone? Did that done when then the evil comes back. Running from myself, it seems it ain't no running from that. Just when you want to start anew, they judge you on what you used to be, thus making it harder too." And you get the sense that, like, he really is trying to repent and become better, but the challenge is really insane for him, and he's having a lot of difficulty with it, which I respect. The rapping is really, like, he comes in like he's in a theatrical performance. He doesn't just rap it. It's almost like he's an actor spitting lines, you know? Judging today for past demons makes me hysterical. Darkness is blinding. Take me back to the city of Jericho. Darkness will not win my heart. It is really not grim. But the chances of me becoming pure angel has got slim. And it's just like, man, you can feel it. You know, every line has this pain or whatever. Like, this might be the crux of his internal struggle, you know? Like, it might have been the most personal and important song for him. Either way, I give this a 5. I feel like the world needs more people to write songs like this, and this needs to just be done more. And as much as it might be fun to have a shallow boppy song, I don't know. It's hard to look at this and be like, it's not a masterpiece. Anyway.
Yeah.
Next one is Red Byers, Say Something, Do Something.
You gon' get a new song with some woo on it. The youth on it and who's to use the loop on this. The bod man.
Wait. Okay, go.
So for this song, we've got Kriss Kaliko, we've got Big Scoob on the intro, and honestly, that's I didn't really grab much from this song. It was cool. It was nice to listen to as background music. I found myself kind of zoning out a little bit. It didn't really captivate me as much. Nothing was really quotable. I think it's just because for me, like, again, it wasn't like captivating. It didn't get me into it. I was just like, okay, it felt like just an extra song on the album a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's lyrically proficient. Tech N9ne does what Tech N9ne does. Big Scoob does what Big Scoob does, and Kaliko does what Kaliko does.
What does Big Scoob do?
He does the intro, but he's got this.
That's what Big Scoob does on all his songs.
No, he also raps, but I like how he changes his voice on this intro in terms of what the voice he usually uses.
So in a sense, Big Scoop is not doing what Big
Right.
Scoop does.
Right. He's not.
I just wanted to establish.
No,
that.
you're right. Anyway, I gave it a 3 on 5. The song just didn't really do much for me.
I liked it a bit more than that, and I think part of the appeal of Red Byers is that the drums are really dope in this beat. I also enjoyed that melody as well. Like I couldn't quite identify exactly what it was. It sounded almost like maybe a fiddle or something like that, where the strings get bent and pitch shifted. But it was like cool as a contrast. And then Tech had just some gorgeous flow moments here. I put the whoop on it. A few moments and then you gonna get a new song with Suwoo on it. The youth wanted in groups to use the loop on this. You know, just like that, like, silky smooth flow. Or, so it's nervous when they give service. No courage can lead to murders. These squirters make them assertive. And I heard it can't be refurbished. When I see the word as we deserve it. It's 'cause someone alerted. We flirted with purges, leaving us dead and deserted, permanently dirted, inserted. Just the way that he delivers it, too, is, like, very punchy and in these little flurries. And it sounds really cool. You know, despite the cool beat, despite that really cool vocal performance, the song doesn't do too much for me. It really doesn't feel super thematically focused in a way that would, you know, drive my interest. But it's the kind of thing I'd love to have on in the background, you know, if I'm not thinking about it too much. I gave it a 3.8.
Fair. I couldn't figure out what Red Byers was. I Googled it and everything. Couldn't figure it out. So if you know what that is, please. I'm curious. I couldn't find it.
Could it possibly due to like Bloods? I mean,
I
he
Googled
is
it.
part of...
I couldn't find the answer. Let them answer if they know. There's no need for speculation. I tried, buddy. This is not going to have an easy answer. I think it's worth noting the part where he goes, you consider suburban black on white cop who never been to the hood, because the perception they all get from all the killings on the TV ain't never good in the hood, so it's nervous when they give service. No courage can lead to murders. The squirters make them assertive, and I heard it can't be refurbished. When the word is we deserve it, can cause someone alerted, and then we flirted with purges and all that other stuff. Like, when I really thought about that part, right, like... He really went super political there for a quick minute. And even if the rest of the song wasn't focused or thematic, I mean, yeah, Big Scoob kind of presenting, like, I say what I'm going to do. Okay, whatever. Kaliko is great on the chorus. Really fucking awesome. Nobody even talked about how good of a singer this man is. Worth saying that. And otherwise, it's cool. Same kind of dealios. I give it a 4.5 on 5. I totally felt this stuff. I mean, I don't care if the rest of the album is happening. If this came on as a standalone track, it's making me move. It's making me feel more energized. I'm not being bored by it, you know? It's a pretty solid jam. So let's never stray from the truth.
So I like this song. It's a good track. The beat is nice. It's not something completely extremely extravagant, but it's good. A couple lines that I liked. Did they doubt me often? But now when they talking about tech, will they all take caution? For the price of fame and what you gain, is it worth what it's costing? Am I going to be the real deal still till I'm laid in the coffin? And I like that. I like that confusion, that type of anxiety. Like, he is working hard and he is doing everything he can to be that legend he's trying to be. And that fear of putting in all that much effort so that nobody's like really going to remember you is kind of scary. It feels like you're really doing and nothing for it. Other than that, song was dope. He's not going to stop making money. He's not going to stop making music. He's not straying off his path. It was pretty much clear in the song. 3.5 on 5.
Yeah, I really don't like this beat. It's slow, and to me it sounds like a super generic romance song. And to top it off, there's, and I'm sorry, I'm very prejudicial in against this song, but it's just like that dumb clap that they have every few bars. Oh my God, I can't stand it. It sounds so inorganic and inauthentic, and I just hate it. I hate it so much. It's unfortunate because, there is a poetry to how Tech constructs his words sometimes, and this song does show moments of that. Like, yeah, I've been down that road at the crib checking out every sound that's sold till I found the soul of a clown that flows, then it got her to slither and spin around that pole. Like, really interesting imagery that's constructed super beautifully, and yet, unfortunately, I dislike this song so much that I would skip it if it came on because I really can't stand the sound. I gave it a 2.5.
Jeez.
I'm gonna say it here. Navé Monjo. I'm not really into his voice, and he's on 4 of these tracks. So I took it with a grain of salt because maybe you like his voice. He's on 4 of these songs. Clearly, Tech likes his voice. I don't know. Otherwise, at this point in the album, I'm realizing I've said about all I can say about Tech N9ne at this point. So I'm gonna focus a little more on what hasn't been said. Okay? So what I really enjoy is Look How Strange came into game like Debo. In the beginning, we did a show in a gazebo. I want to do a show in a gazebo. That sounds really fucking fun. Now we got hits and take pics with the people, but they won't play me if I don't mix with the Migos. I like that because it's interesting how it's still so true that, like, Migos owns everything with culture too, and Tech comes in with this, and he probably still won't get invited to the Cool Kid Club. Otherwise, song's pretty solid. 4 on 5. Not one of the better ones on the album to me. Sho Nuff, they're gonna hate.
Cause we made it through the days, it was so rough. So, is everybody with me?
We've got Tech N9ne breaking down the past experiences and the struggles which have led them to the strange incorporation and the empire that he is currently building with everybody that is on the team. I feel like Tech is praising everyone and like thanking them for what their contributions have been and what they're doing to keep this, again, strange empire alive. He does talk about, remembering struggles and past when shit was hard. One of the lines I liked was, I remember rubber sole footies on my feet in the dead of winter, freezing cold, walking in the street, off to 7-Eleven, only had enough to eat, a bag of Doritos with the chili and cheese inside them. It was cheap. And, like, you can get this sense, like, he didn't have much, and when, like, junk food is your only option because it's cheap, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But other than that, I mean, I like what he's doing with the songs. I like how he's presenting them, how he's controlling the flow, how he's doing this. It's just, for me, it felt like, okay, you came from nothing and now you have something. We've heard this on the album before, but
I don't think we've heard it on this album before. I think we've heard it in his career a lot. I don't know that I can say on this album it's been really drilled in that much.
Well, I gave it a 3.5 on 5.
Right away, this track is more interesting to me than Never Stray. There's this electric guitar solo sound in the background and sound effect voices leading up to this, like, electro synth melody. There's this nice female vocalist that accompanies Tech N9ne. There's this piano that comes in and then sounds out of place, but, like, in an interesting kind of way. And then, a trap beat comes in. You guys know my general stance on trap beats. It's a trap beat. Got to throw it in. It's popular. You got to throw it in.
But that beat, though.
Oh, my God. No, not that one, though. Not that. No, but I like the rest of it. I really do like the melody.
Right.
The song itself is like this almost a bit of a feel-good inspiration track in ways, telling the story of his childhood with no father and a sick mother buying cheap food. Leading up to the hook, he says, I'd like to thank everybody that showed up. Now we bout to get poured up because we made it through the days where it was so rough. So was everybody with me? Sho Nuff. But then he also says later on, even though we had a lot of nothing, were we poor? Sho Nuff. Did we find a better way of living through this flow? Sho Nuff. Coming up feeling good right now. Lot of love in the hood right now. Tell me something if you ain't a hater. Do we go?
Sho Nuff.
And yeah, we had a lot. Yeah, just you know, it's a well-constructed, interesting song narratively. And it felt to me a bit like a celebratory track, too, of conquering adversity and prospering while also appreciating, you know, what you've gone through. I give this a 4.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan on this. It's pretty much what this is. He was poor, now he's winning, but he's not winning on his own. He's winning and is grateful to the fact that he's winning with you if you were there for him with that big asterisk mark. I like lines like, unless you got the will to go and get it, unless you find a lick and go and hit it, I didn't picture, I didn't march and pick it, I just kick him with something wicked, then I turned it into a ticket, went from fights in high school to partying on stage with the hip-hop junkies nice and smooth. I really like that. I like how he's showing that progression in his life, and I don't think that it can ever be said too many times that you started from the bottom, now you here, when you started from the bottom and now you here. I'm just throwing it out there. Another 4 on 5 for me. It's like definitely not the most impressive song, and you can see how after like Brightfall, the album quality takes a dip. I'm saying it. Like the first 10 songs are significantly more improved overall, and the rest of this is kind of like you know that those are the songs that matter when your album's this long. In the second half, not as many people are going to finish, so you can squeeze a couple in there. You know, that's kind of what I felt a bit, but not like he was stretching, but like these are the worst songs on the album, this whole second half. Anyway, so that's just how I'm feeling.
Hey, look, guys, it's a piano leading into a trap beat.
And Navé Monjo.
And Tech N9ne saying the same shit on the first verse about how he's feeling people are looking at him and because he's rich and women want him because he's got money and he feels a little awkward, so he wants to break dance, and he knows that people are feeling his flow.
He wants to break dance because the women are watching.
Exactly. That's essentially what the first verse is. I like Snow the Product. I went in on her verse on verse 2, and I really love when she went, I'm still this cold with the bars trying to get me to backtrack, cause you know I still rap, but I get that bag and then I go sing and then I come right back and I let that stack and the bell go ding and a bitch gets slapped and I know it's gonna sting when you hoes hear that. And I'm just, every time she goes on this hard gangster flow, I just really enjoy listening to her.
Just what Tech says, but from a girl point of view.
I enjoy it more from a girl point of view than
I just want to be clear.
Like, that's totally fine. I just like the way she says it. She sounds super fucking gangster saying it. Anyway.
Did it turn you on a little?
Yes. Every time she speaks, it turns me on. I fucking love this. I love this rapper. Like, I love Snow the Product. Holy shit. Other than that, I like the song. I'm a little biased because I like them both, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with the track. I gave it a 4 on 5. I really just quoted her, what I just wrote from her. The beat's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, this, open piano leading into a trap beat. I love the interchange in this trap where the piano is cutting in and out while Tech is continuing his flow regardless of where the piano goes. It's like this really cool popping effect that puts emphasis on his voice. I do really think there's a great sound to this track. I also really appreciated Navé Monjo's voice here. I felt that it really suited this track. I agree with Kriss that the thing that stood out to me the most is Snow the Product. I have surprisingly similar feelings towards Snow the Product as I do towards Tech N9ne. They're different in a number of ways, but when she kills a song, she really can kill it. And I don't think she always delivers on that, but when she does, it's just a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
And I do feel like she does deliver pretty decently here with some good lines. It ain't mumble rap if you hear me clearly. I rap better than your boys and you getting weary. 'Cause I hit that little melody. I know you hear me with your dumbass only smart people feel me. 'Cause I've been naughty killing that rap. It's just that I've been looking up to Kaliko. Most of you bitches ain't been rapping fast, garbage as fuck, I'm a whole different animal. Lately these bitches be jocking me, hard hear it in they songs so I shook 'em again.
Gangster as fuck.
So when they ask if I'm still going off, Yes, bitch, I'm a monster. Don't ever forget, ho.
Why is that gangster as fuck? To me, it doesn't sound that gangster at all. It sounds a little bit hard. It really is one of the least gangster things I think I've heard. Like,
But okay, so define hard then.
well,
Like, what's the difference between being hard, or sounding gangster?
Well, she doesn't sound gangster. Hard is like you're a little scary. You're gonna go off. You're gonna have some intensity. Gangsta sounds like that girl's a boss. You have She has no strategy there. She's rapping fast and doing amateur moves. It sounds not like she's a boss. Tech N9ne sounds like he's a CEO. Like he sounds like he has some gangsta in him. I feel like Snow the Product is a clone of Tech N9ne. I've listened to many of her tracks. I just can't get into her. She's hot. She has a great flow. She's talented. There's nothing about it. But I feel like she has no real personality for me to get behind.
In general, she is not as good as Tech N9ne at doing abstract imagery in her words, but she is better than he is on average at pushing a narrative. That would be like the big difference, I would argue.
But like, end of the day, she's a girl who goes fast, and there's not a lot of those. And I think that's the novelty of Snow the Product. Not that she's overly talented.
I think it's also that she's a girl that goes hard, which is, it's like...
There's a lot of girls that go hard. But going hard and fast and being signed to strange music, I mean, I feel like it's really a lack of exposure to what's out there. And I feel like Snow's cool because we don't have a lot of other women to compare against, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to say that Snow's verse is okay on this song. I feel like it's novel. We haven't heard a girl going in on anything on this album, so it's amazing to hear. Like, it stands out.
Fair enough.
The novelty factor, I give it to you. But I actually found that her verse was really weak compared to the women rap we've listened to lately. Like, you can't put on Lil' Kim and then go to this and tell me this is gangster. It's just, there's no comparison.
Okay.
Right? So having that like pool of a few other women rappers we've covered, I'm just going to say that this sounded flossy, like glossy, like superficially hard. Not like she actually is hard. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all y'all will think differently than me. That's totally acceptable.
What do you guys think of Snow's verse?
Because I'm not
What do you think of Snow?
I think the speed she came in was amazing. She went in would be an apt way to describe it. But I don't think that the words she used were anything ultra interesting.
No, I mean, that would be one of my criticisms of her, is that she masks an uninteresting choice of language with speed and technical ability.
That's what I'm trying to convey. So therefore, not gangster. Gangster requires that, like, actual cool wordplay, stringing together a sense of a gangster way of thinking, you know? Something there. That's my dispute there. Otherwise, the song's okay. I do like when text, like, how I'm feeling is people keep using identical syllables, like Snow. Switch it up a little, but I'm feeling that often this pattern is the only one feelable. To the masses, perhaps to the people not needing variety, since the umbilical don't hate the mirror, so I'm just a rapper that happens to kill a bro. When I be clapping, you kinda so pillable. I'm like, it's cool. Same old, but I enjoyed the flow, the way it came out. I feel like Tech has to be in this box he's in now, and he knows that, and he's kind of running with it, but at the same time, everyone's copying him, and it's interesting, so I don't know, it's weird it's like I want to understand his mind a little bit better. Anyway, this track's another 4. I don't think it's anything worth remembering.
I can't remember, did I give it a grade? It's 4. It's a 4 for me as well.
4 too.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's not a damn thing.
Where they do that? Right here, right now, all I really want to know is what the...
I just want to start this off by saying we are now presented with Bruno Mars' The Lazy Song by Tech N9ne featuring his twist on it.
So, of course, Tech N9ne is basically claiming he doesn't want to do anything today. He's been working super hard. He's released the project. He's doing all this stuff to keep everything, all the money going. He, as he quotes, I'm taking a off day, yep, and I ain't about to lose that. I'm finna be absent like Ferris Bueller. Anyway, I quoted
Ferris
it.
Bueller.
I quoted that because of the Ferris Bueller line. I enjoyed that. I butchered it. I am sorry. But he also then proceeds to basically say that if your girlfriend or your wife starts bitching, and he goes, if the missus is tripping, you tell the missus you grown. If it if
That's
it
if
quick
you're
as the
drinking and smoking too
bitching,
much.
run to the strippers with thongs. And I'm like, that's not the answer, Tech.
Well-
If your wife is bitching at you, you should sit there, eat the shit, and then find a way to fix it. Not go run off to strippers and then do that.
Well, if you're trying to have an off day, sometimes it's good to get away for a minute.
Yes, but if she's bitching at you and your answer is,
But
I'm going to
it's in
strippers,
response to his excessive drinking and smoking.
fair. That's all I really said to it. Other than that, the song was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. His flow was good. Again, his flow is great, but the song itself was just a Tech version of Bruno Mars's Lazy Day. I wasn't really impressed. So 3 on 5.
Yeah, the song starts relaxed, like I don't want to do a damn thing today, and then all of a sudden it gets intense. Electric guitar comes in with this funky ass drum beat. It's an interesting interplay between these two styles. Then, Tech, I think you quoted some of these lines, but I just want to re-quote because I want to add to it. I really want to know where the smoke and booze at. I'm taking a day off, yep, and I ain't about to lose that. I'm finna be absent like Bueller. Now the time's happening like Mueller. I got a kick out of that. I can just imagine Tech sitting at home reading up on all the most recent political articles about what the fuck is going on with President Trump.
Yeah.
Because this is the second reference on the album to, Trumpist America.
Trump-related news.
Yeah. I also thought it was funny because he couched it right, or he added it right after that Bueller reference, which was pretty cool. Yeah, so it's like an interesting dynamic to this song. I don't have much else to say about it. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.9.
So I really like this song. There's a charm to it. Now, one of the criticisms we often give is the artist's inability to come up with new shit to say. And Tech came up with a brand new thing to say on this album that we have not heard yet.
Yep.
Apparently he's done another song like it called Slacker. I haven't heard that one yet. But I just dig it, man. Like, 'twas a hell of a ditching day, a lie in a biggin' way, but the grown-up responsibilities, you gotta be a kid and play. I deserve to be a ghost to you, 'cause I am king, so today I chose to do it, not a damn thing. I just picture myself in the future. I'm the boss of some shit going on, and I ghost out of my whole company for a day, 'cause I want to go play mini-putt. I'm gonna do shit like that. And he's the boss, so he can. And that's some real goal stuff. But if you really listen to what this is, it's not just that he's taking a day off. It's he's already got the bag. He's already collected the money. He's already put in the work. And he's earned this fuck it day, which are important for your mental sanity and stuff. I give this a 4.5 on 5. I think it's a smooth track. I think it's interesting. It's funny. It's enjoyable. Even to respond to that, he's not like what you said about the wife thing. He's saying, like, if you're trying to have a good day and your wife's getting in the way, go away. Relax. Get your de-stress on. He's kind of, contextually speaking, he's right.
Well, okay, but to back Kriss up on that, he's recommending, go de-stress at a strip bar and get it's like, is that the place to de-stress?
While Mrs. is bitching.
To be fair, as I understand it, from where he's from and depending on where you are, the strip club is a very different thing in southern USA than it is in Montreal, Quebec. So the culture of the strip club and the type of thing you would do, it's just really different, right?
Kind of like just going to a bar. You're trying to
except that you're going to have like a Cirque du Soleil show and eat chicken wings. And it's like a fucking weird experience. So maybe in like a really nice strip club is a thing. Plus, I know tons of girls who are totally fine with their dudes going to strip clubs. It's not like an offensive thing or anything.
Yeah, but I think that most people who are okay with it would also be like, oh, that's a weird thing to do after having a fight with your... It's
not like a real fight. I just picture him sitting there like he's trying to have his thing and she's like, meh, meh, meh. And he's like, you know what? I'm just trying to have one day off. I'm going to head off to the strip club. And he's not telling her that. He's just bouncing out with the boys. So
just to reinforce so Mrs. is nagging you. You're lying to her. You're going.
Well,
it just
now you're
sounds
just
like
making a bunch of assumptions.
It just sounds like a bad idea. Take the nagging.
Your assumption was no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say flat out. If I'm having a fuck it day and the girl's coming and nagging, I will leave. I don't have to go to a strip club. I'm gonna go do something that's not there. Because if the point of my day is to de-stress, then I'm not going to stay in the stressful environment. And I think y'all are I do not think I'm going to sit there and listen to that shit, especially if I didn't do anything. What if I'm trying to take a day off?
That's like you're like arguing against the thing that we're not arguing that. We're arguing that choosing a strip club specifically is like
You're
weird.
arguing the strip club thing. Kriss is arguing all of it.
No, I'm arguing the strip club thing.
You're just arguing the strip club
I am
thing.
arguing the fact that he's like, if the missus is bitching, leave it.
If his wife is okay with him going to a strip club, who cares? Then you're just judging. I'm saying that this is a point where you are making so many assumptions now.
Okay,
where it's your ethics against it. I don't have a problem with him going to a strip club to de-stress because whatever. For all I know, that's the normal thing for him to do on a Friday. I know plenty of people who engage in that lifestyle. Do I support it? No. Do I judge them? No. And that's how I want to end it. I'm saying adding my ethics into that doesn't seem appropriate. That line to me was comical. It seemed like a really okay, and if your girl's getting on your nerves, bounce out and go over there. Whatever. I think that at the end of the day, it's not as bad as you guys are making it sound. I don't think he's trying to imply, if your wife is mad at you because you failed some serious obligations, you should bounce her off, blow her off, not deal with your shit and watch TV. It's not what he's saying. He's saying, on your day off, if your wife's being annoying, go to a strip club, have yourself a good moment. I think it's not deeper than that, personally. But
I'm not fully sold on that, but
that's okay.
What do you think, Internet? Do you agree with Holden? Do you agree with Kriss? Do you agree with myself? What's your stance? Do you think that that's a weird line? Do you think that that's cool? That's the kind of thing I'd do if I had a fight.
Honestly, let us know how the strip club is in your hometown. I think in Montreal, it's a weird thing to do. It's not the most popular activity. So with our local culture,
it's also because Montreal, for the uninitiated, has a particularly strong kind of sex attraction scene.
Yeah.
It's one of the top rated cities for that in the world, and here strip clubs are full contact. There's some rules, but significantly less than most other places.
And on top of that, it's I don't know about you, but it's not a cool thing on a Friday night to go to the strip club unless you're 20. So, but if you are in a part of town where the strip club is just the local hangout spot, who knows? Maybe that's just what's up. I don't know.
Is that a thing?
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. As I understand it, in Atlanta and places like that, that is actually a thing. You spend $5 and it's this big Cirque du Soleil experience with black lights and body glitter and all sorts of shit where honestly, the show you're getting is a good place to go, is what I'm understanding it as I've inquired because I got curious at a certain point. I personally find strip clubs to be a waste of my money and time. I don't want to go to them. But I'm just saying that I don't know his local culture or customs and how people treat it. But I definitely think that they are predominated by plenty of married men. So there must be a lot of people okay with this, I digress. There's been a lot of talking about strip clubs. So
Well, it's not our fault we like to talk.
I don't get no applause. I'm just being me. Ain't no
I'm good on this.
all right, so this song has 2 verses, and our good friend Navé's back. Verse 1 is particularly interesting to me. It describes how in his history, the Insane Clown Posse and the Juggalo Squad put him up, helped him get famous. This is true. And then he was on Hot 97 for a minute, and they asked him some question in an ignorant way, kind of painting him out like he stole or copied Violent J's business strategy or some shit. You saw them on the road, then you decided to go do that or blah, blah, blah. And then Tech went on to say that, I'm the best at what I do, they do what they do. And then Insane Clown Posse took issue with this because Violent J's a giant crybaby. It's unfortunate. I'm a huge juggalo, but that man has turned into a giant crybaby in the last couple of years. So they went on the next day and talked shit. And I thought it was really interesting how Tech, who I would say has done a lot for the Juggalos over the last 5-6 years, if I would say anything, Tech has validated the Juggalos more than the Juggalos have validated Tech N9ne in the modern history. And they were such wankers about it, they owed them something. And that made me really sad. And so that was really interesting, that whole first verse. And then I just wanted to comment on the second verse because I'm already this far in. Fuck it. Second verse made me a little bit sad too because they were in this concert in Milwaukee, and they were proceeding to go through this. They were doing the areolas part of the show which is how they close their concert.
Yeah.
Women flash and do the areolas thing. And one of the girls was a minor. And daddy or mommy saw this after, and everybody like freaked out and came at them with like child porn allegations and shit. And I guess this is Tech's way of saying that these things happen. So there's this rift between him and the Juggalos, and now they can't play areola at shows anymore, and how they're not his fault. And he just wanted to explain himself a little bit. And I really dug this. I thought there was a heavy level of realness, a high level of interest in the subject matter. Like hearing about the death of a performance of a song in a modern issue like that. Interesting. I just a 4.5 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, this is a somber track with slow electric guitar, super slow drums. The first verse, Tech talks about juggalos. Yeah, like, you know, basically Holden kind of nailed it. I can't really say too much here that he didn't already say. They had to stop playing because, you know, over what he described as fake tears, because her parents supposedly told the girl to say it was their fault.
And then what was super interesting there is Tech responds with, yeah, it's probably the guy who put her on his shoulder's fault.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Anyway, I don't really like the sound of this song very much, is my biggest problem with it, which is kind of unfortunate because I do really think that Tech does a great job on the delivery. He's still killing the flow. He had some really good stories here, and I wish I liked this song more than I did, but the production kind of leaves something to be desired for me, so I gave it a 3.9.
I had trouble focusing on this song. I didn't get anything that you guys like initially got from it. I read it. I understand the ICP story. I understand the whole context, but the song felt a little boring to me. The pace of the song was slow. Tech N9ne, his voice was good. I mean, he's not bad. It's just I wasn't interested. I replayed this song a couple times, and just every time I listened to it, it just nothing gave me that want to listen to it. I gave it a 2.5 on 5.
All right, that's fair. So let's say we're tapping into the next song.
Lord knows the loving was fire, though. It ain't worth living these lives.
Yeah, the beat is this slow synth at the beginning, and then this trap beat starts up. It's very average. The song, however, is about Tech N9ne lying about his relationship with this woman and lying to his friend.
Best friend.
There's two friends in this too. I can't remember which one's which. But verse 1 is about how he was, fucking this 40-year-old who was the colleague of his friend. He kept it secret to be professional and not to put her in a weird position, but then tried to drop hints to his friend about how he wanted to smash her. But his friend told him he didn't have a chance and treated it as laughable, which I think kind of hurt Tech. In verse 2, he talks about how, he told another friend about how he was fucking this woman, and that friend ended up falling out with Tech and telling the other one that Tech was lying to him about this affair, who then got pissed at him, and they got into a fight, and their relationship ended. And then the third verse really, hits hard, I found. It's short, but Tech does a really good job of kind of summarizing his feelings. So that is how me and my best friend fell out, because I told another homie something he had to yell out. All of our business ventures and dreams was the hell out, and I'm left with underhanded things that I can tell about. Lost my best friend because I was young and dumb. He lost his life to another brother with a gun. I never got to tell him that I was sorry. I was sprung. My other homie died of cancer. Now I'm numb. So the moral of the story is don't lie to get something you really want. Always keep it real, though a lot of people don't. That's why they always in funk. It's like a really well-delivered narrative that, is about as emotional a Tech song as I can remember hearing. I thought that it was kind of interesting to see him taking that angle. It's interesting that in the second half of the album, he almost puts more effort into pushing narratives, I find, than he did in the first half.
On some of them.
Well,
on some of them, not all of them, but in general.
Just to say something, and I think we forgot it, and I don't remember which track it is, but on either the last track, My Fault, or the track before it, there's a little skit interlude at the end of the track that basically gives you that the next couple of songs are better played at night with the lights off. There's a whole tone setting.
That comes at the end of Not a Damn Thing.
Okay. So it's not a damn thing. So there
That's
is
fair.
there is an actual warning. Like, look, you might want to be in a different setting for the next couple of songs, to actually get into them and feel how they're feeling.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think this narrative is super well delivered. I think particularly in the end. Unfortunately, since I find the beat is sort of boring, I gave this a 3.8.
So you basically covered the entire story. That's what happens. I love the story behind it. I love how Tech is trying to be as honest as he can be, and he regrets not telling his friend what was really going on. He regrets not being honest. The consequences of holding on to certain shit and not being able to finally come out with it because, you know, as he says, his friend passed away and his other friend died of cancer, and there's things that he wanted to get off his chest and he can't do it now, and it's hurting him. The thing I got from this, though, a part of it also kind of felt like some shit just needs to be kept to yourself and don't be telling other people.
What?
Well, because of the fact that he told his friend, oh, you know, I'm sleeping with this chick. And then because they beefed, his friend started to snitch on Tech and told the other guy, and they all got mad. So I feel like at some point, yes, you're supposed to trust your homies or trust your friends and your loyalty and stuff like that. But certain shit, some shit, you just got to keep to yourself and not risk anything that happens. Like if there was a falling out and you didn't tell X, Y, Z to this person, maybe you could still, you know, continue doing with something else or whatever it is.
I mean, yeah, in a convoluted way, you could continue fucking the girl. But I don't think that's the point of this.
No,
song.
I'm not saying it's the point. I'm not saying it's the point. I'm not trying to make it my point. I'm just saying, like, I also got that type of message from it. I understand the point of it is being honest and living up to what is actually going on and speaking the truth so that you don't feel like a piece of shit when extreme tragedies happen and, you know, like, you basically lied to your friend, all of this stuff, and then he died. And now you're just sitting here like, well, I feel like a piece of shit. I get the point of the song.
Right.
I get it.
So the point of the song, as Tech said, is don't lie to take things that aren't yours. Because that's the point of the song.
I gave it a 4, by the way.
The other thing, I didn't say this, but I got this impression that his friend that he didn't tell liked that girl or something.
Yeah, they were
like
dating.
That, right? Oh, they were dating.
They were in like a relationship.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that they were dating. I thought this was just one girl that these two dudes are trying to go for.
Wait, if they were dating... See, this is why I didn't think they were dating, though, because he talked to his friends about how he wanted to, like, fuck her. Well, he had mentioned it to his friend.
Yeah, he mentioned directly to his friend.
He said it because he was feeling guilty at that point about how he'd been fucking her for such a long time.
Well, no, that was in the beginning of the first verse. The first verse, he drops hints about wanting to fuck the 40-year-old woman that we're talking about.
That is when that whole thing happens.
But then but at the third verse where they're having the conversation, the guy was just there like, were they on the phones?
That's the second verse.
Well, the Joey Cool, that's what I'm calling. That's what the dude.
So that guy comes in.
He comes in and he basically says, you know I liked her. You know I wanted to be with her.
I'm pretty sure that they were dating, and etc.
Like that's why he was all mad because like the guy Joey Cool got mad at Tech because Tech was having whatever secretive relationship with this girl, but Joey Cool has been wanting this girl for such a long time, and while Tech was like, yo, let me hit that, the guy's just kind of there like, yo, bro, you can't even hit that. She's not even your type. She won't like you because he really likes her a lot. But I found it they're both trying to like race for this chick in a sense.
Maybe. And if that's the case, it furthers the point that it isn't don't snitch, it's don't lie to your boy. Because when he finds out, bad things will happen.
Yeah, and if if it was his girlfriend, probably don't fuck his girlfriend.
Either
That's
way,
probably
same
a good,
shit, really.
Probably
I don't
a good
think
idea.
it changes anything in the song.
Maybe he's probably listening to the SO.
And I like either way, I don't think it changes that much at all in the
SOB
narrative. But yeah, I think it's really interesting because it is worth noting that the friend is played by Joey Cool. It's a whole conversation and shit.
And Tech N9ne
and as
ignores
I was
everything.
saying, because it would be nice to talk to Kriss.
Yes.
It's got some cool shit like he goes like through the whole phone call with it, and then she's like no confidence. Well, how you really gonna believe every damn thing you say? And he's like, dog, you for real? You should have told me without delay. We was fam. Now you got me dealing with hearsay. and everything that he say, she say. Oh, I gotta go. And he just gets off the phone there. I thought that was particularly fun and interesting because like they have through this like whole conversation that really sounds organic, authentic, and like real with it. You know, like this definitely happened is all I'm trying to say. It's a pretty cool story to me. I give this a 5 on 5. It's got a message. It's got a proper music to it. Full construction. Everything about this song is well made, in my opinion. And I'm surprised that so late in the album I'm finding something I like so much, really. So that's all I gotta say about that. Next track is Levitation.
Family, friends, and homies had to understand it's all about the team, not only you.
So for this track, you've got Tech N9ne explaining how he is levitating himself into a better place, and he's gotten his hopes up, and he was able to get himself to do and succeed as he's succeeding. I like when he goes, "When I wake up, I wash my face, then get it in, schedule filled, and still I got to fit it in. They depending on me. Who? Family, fans, and homies. True." And that stuck with me because doing all of these podcasts that we're doing and these reviews and every weekend coming back to back and working, you know, Monday to Friday all the time and chasing this dream and these goals that we've set for ourselves. Me personally, yeah, it's time consuming, and there's a lot of work and a lot of effort that needs to be made and a lot of sacrifices you have to give up. Like your chilling time is gone, your friend times are gone. To an extent, like there's a lot of things you have to start Xing out of your life to know, and the reason why I say this is to know that you're gonna get it back. Once you've done the work, once you've done everything, you'll get it back once you've gotten to you're finally you're taking a day off after you're working, or you can actually relax and enjoy yourself because you've gotten the bag, you've gotten the money. I like that. That's a very relatable line. I like when he went, if I wasn't such a killer, I would cry. Not that guy. Levitation, dedication in my eye till I die. And I was that was just real as well. Like you can't let yourself be back down. You can't let yourself cry when you're trying to do this stuff. But as the harder it gets, and the people that may walk away, or the people who don't believe in you, or just the struggle itself might want to break you, but you have to stay strong and continue going. I really enjoyed the song. I really enjoyed the message for it. I really enjoyed how Tech N9ne presented it. The beat though was a little lackluster. I didn't really get into the beat. It wasn't all that hype for me. So the song landed at a 3.5 on 5.
Yeah, for me this was another generic, uninteresting trap beat. It has these really ambient vibes mixed with a synth. Here, Tech's talking about his struggle to work even when he doesn't want to. How he's always, able to lift himself up until he's levitated. He says, "I'm a business owner now, I can't be laid off. Whatever you do it every day. And do something different if it's true it barely pays. Don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. I chose to give you rap. I'm ablaze and I'm after the sun. I won." Some pretty cool lines there. It's a coherent song that really does stay on message, but it didn't really capture my interest or my attention all that much. I think it might also be a side effect of having an album that's like stretched on for, this many songs. And at this point, this one wasn't a super hit because I think he's already exhausted a lot of this style of song. I gave it a 3.6.
Yeah, I'm okay with this one. I like the part that Ryan quoted, mostly because the fact is everyone's trying to do everything themselves nowadays, and everyone kind of sucks because they try to do everything themselves. Like, you really probably aren't going to pop if you are the rapper, the beat maker, the engineer, and the producer all at once. If you have no friends, chances are you're not going to make it happen.
To be fair, as a counterpoint, there are actually a lot of rappers who do that.
Fair, but I'm going to say if you're going to play a numbers game, chances are you'll never get good enough at any one of those things to make it work, because a lot of those people that pull that off have lives that allowed them to put in the hours 100%. To develop the skills in each one of those particular crafts. Yeah. So
that's very true.
If it takes, hypothetically, 10,000 hours to perfection in one thing, unless you've been at this your whole life since you're 12, man, stick with a thing. Learn that thing. Like, you don't see Tech N9ne producing every beat and shit now. You see him rapping. focuses on what he's good at, does what he's got to do. He's got to perform. He's got to handle all the things he's got to do, and he does it well. And that's an amazing thing. So I thought it was just interesting. Now, I think that you should do a few things, but you shouldn't do everything to the point where you can't get great at anything. And that's what taken away from that. Otherwise, I give this a 4.25. I don't like Navé, Monjo, much after this album. We Won't Go Quietly is the last one.
Set aside all the differences and try to ease up off a war with each other. Please trust we can be just.
Oh, this is one hell of a way to end an album.
Yeah. So as I say, I'm like, so wait, you decided until track 19 to start getting political and talk about life, as far as I'm concerned.
That's as far as you're concerned, because he's gone political and he's talked
I
about
said
life.
As far as I'm concerned. I made sure it's about me, and it's not like I'm generalizing.
That's not entirely
anybody.
true. That's all I'm clarifying.
Okay, well, in my opinion, I felt like this is the first one that he actually started talking about other people. He actually started talking about other things that are going on, like the line, people rather have separation than to come together living freely, all the tragedies we've seen on the dark streets and on the TV, acknowledging that there is shit going on. He does bring up terrorism at one point. He does bring up racism. Jordan Omley on the hook has this nice R&B feel to his voice. But I think my problem with why I don't have much to say about this song is this has been a long journey in terms of a lot of tech all at once. And at this point, I was also kind of just a little droned out a bit from it. But I do appreciate the presentation and the way that he built this track. So I gave it a 4 on 5.
I thought right away, right off the bat, like, I love this beat a lot more with the piano and drums than the last one. It's poppier, but it also has more soul, I found. And there's a lot of really interesting, nice lines in here where tech is kind of taking focus. Wishing we could all be rid of all terrorism, like it's their ism. For good, I'd say heroism. We are the dauntless in the midst of demons we see in swarms, so mind your business unless you see somebody being harmed. I learned to love from my mother. I feel an angel around me, I know she hovers, impatiently waiting for you to discover that people all need each other. When you see me, I'll call you brother, never mattered whatever color. It's like, man, there's some really nice sentiment. It's probably some of the nicest sentiment on the album, actually. Yeah, he manages to pull off, I think, a really nice closing song for the album. I gave this a 4.3.
So I just want to say that one of the things that's really cool to me is that he made sure to take his most important message and leave it at the end. That is cool. And if we really think about it, in 19 tracks, he may have had like 11 or 12 unique subjects. So there's no way that like you can call him redundant or anything. So if I have to pick between redundant or you coming up with new things, new song ideas, like every 2 or 3 songs, he had something completely fresh to drop on the table. That's pretty cool. So I don't have any criticism with his placement here. It's like he took this super political message where he had touched on a lot of these ideas in all of the other songs, in my opinion. Like there was the whole part about the cops and shit, you know, all that other stuff. But we will never see racism done away with in our lifetime. When the parents' hearts full of hate reproduced and it's sent down the pipeline. The kids want to fight crime, then they talk to the others of the right kind. That'd be terrifying facing nighttime, and it's still only the light shine. Oh, it's such a powerful track in general. Like line after line of like the stuff that he was really feeling from the heart. But on the other hand, I don't know that Tech N9ne can fill 15 songs of political messaging either. And that would have been really freaking boring. So I'm kind of happy that he saved it for this one charged, super good end album thing. Because I mean, I've been listening to you particularly criticize albums. You don't want anybody to make 15 songs in a row on the same theme. You hate it. So to me, this seems like the perfect way to approach an album for you.
Okay.
Anyway, I give this a 4.5 on 5. I thought the beat was excellent. I thought it was again different, interesting. And anyway, yeah, so 4.5. To like look at the album as a whole though, I am really impressed with this project. In 19 songs, I didn't really get bored. There were a couple songs I like less than others. That happens. But I never got bored. I never felt like, oh, it's just the same thing over and over again. Like, I never got that, too much Tech N9ne feeling. In fact, I was still like it's 19 songs. When you're done, you're a little bit like, okay, I'm glad this album's over. Like, that's kind of how I ended. I ended on, like, a really good feeling. I give this a 4.4. It's a really good project. I can't see it being, like, something I'm going to go back to, like, because there's other Tech N9ne projects I like more. But if I want to talk about new music in 2018, this might be one of the coolest examples of interesting music that might come out for the next 3 months. I'm not saying it is, but considering some of the more generic stuff that can exist, I think this album is a great direction to take the genre, and I wish more people could do what Tech N9ne does.
Nice. Well, my grade landed at a 3.47. I like the album. I like Tech N9ne. Some of the beats on the second half of the album were a little bit weak for me. And there's just some songs that I just didn't feel really captivated me, whether it have been the message or whether it have been the song itself. But I mean, songs like Fresh Out, songs like I can't see them right now, but they're at the other top half of the album. A lot of the first couple of tracks I do enjoy. Overall, I like his energy and what he brings to the table, and you know what, I'm still excited to see what next project is coming out.
Cool.
You?
Yeah, your album thoughts?
Oh, I totally missed that we were on the album now.
Yeah, we've gotten that far.
Whoops. Yeah, this was also a pretty delightful surprise for me. I find that Tech N9ne albums are often they always contain songs that I like. The variable is how many songs will be in it that I like. This one contained a pretty good proportion of enjoyable songs that, you know, I was able to groove to. There's not a whole ton of them that really, like, moved me, but the ones that did a good job. And, man, I just loved that Conjuring, the track from the...
Brightfall.
The composer, yeah, Brightfall, who... That was, like, such a cool track, and I really hope to see more of that in the future from Tech N9ne or other artists. I think that's a really neat way to do things. I gave this album a 3.7. I think it's good. It's a kind of album that I would enjoy to listen to. But, you know, I don't know how much I'd actively seek out most of the stuff on this.
That's completely fair. But what's really important is what y'all think. So feel free to let us know in the comments below how you felt about the album. And remember, doing so enters you into the contest if you subscribe and like. And yeah, we'll be back next week with a whole other review and more stuff. I know this one's been a little longer. So looking forward to hearing from you on what you thought on this project. Have a great week, everyone.